The 1954 World Championship football game is on the air. Yes, it's time to enjoy life with Miller High Life, the beer that's acclaimed the national champion of quality as the Miller Brewing Company of Milwaukee and their coast-to-coast family of Miller High Life dealers and distributors bring you today's championship battle between the Detroit Lions and the Cleveland Browns. And this is Earl Gillespie speaking from Municipal Stadium here in Cleveland, Ohio, where this afternoon we're all set for one of the great and thrilling sports attractions of the year, the battle for the National Football League title. And for the fifth straight year, Coach Paul Brown leads in his Cleveland Browns. They won the title back in 1950. Since then, they are still trying to regain that championship. On the other hand, the third straight appearance for the Detroit Lions in this championship struggle, and they are going after an unprecedented third straight championship in pro football. This game is being carried by over 500 mutual stations, Armed Forces Radio, Alaska, and into Hawaii. The temperature here in Cleveland this afternoon is 53 degrees. Overcast skies with broken clouds. We see some big patches of blue, and it's a very surprising day because just last Sunday, in the last game of the regulation season for these two teams, they battled it out in a snowstorm with the temperature down in the low 20s. Today it is 53 with the overcast skies. The wind will be a negligible factor this afternoon. It's out of the west at 5 miles per hour. And our radio booth is located on the south side of the playing field. We are on about the 40-yard line. The field runs east and west. And at this very moment, the Cleveland Browns starting lineup is being introduced. Just a few seconds ago, the defending world champions were introduced, Buddy Parker's Detroit Lions. We have the starting lineup, so quickly here they are for the Lions, visiting here at Municipal Stadium today. At left end, Darrell Brewster. At left tackle, Lou Groza. The left guard is Abe Gribbin. The center is Frank Gatsky. At right guard, Chuck Noll. The right tackle is Johnny Sandusky. And the right end, the veteran Danny Lavelli. In the backfield, the fearless passer, Otto Graham at quarterback. At left half, rookie Chet Hanulak. At fullback, Morris Bassett. And the right halfback is Billy Reynolds. For the Cleveland Browns, or rather, we just read you the Cleveland Browns starting lineup. For the Detroit Lions, it'll be at the end, Dorn Dibble and Leon Hart. At the tackles, Lou Quickmer and Charlie Annie. At guard, Tommy Sewell and Dick Stanfeld. The center will be Andy Makita. In Detroit's backfield, Bobby Lane at quarterback. Doak Walker at left half. Lou Carpenter at right half, and Bill Bowman will be the starting fullback. For fans, it looks like action is about to get underway, and while we await that opening kickoff, here is a friendly word from your host.
You know, fans, one of pro football's many outstanding stars is Tobin Rote, quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. A 5-year veteran, Rote has the right combination of the right ingredients to make an outstanding quarterback. A strong, accurate throwing arm, calm judgment, baffling deception, plus a determined will to win. And as a member of the Miller Brewing Company's Sports and Special Events Department, Tobe will tell you that Miller High Life also has the right combination of the right ingredients. The very choicest of hand-selected hops, the very finest of brewing facilities and brewing skill, an old-world formula that just can't be duplicated. All this, plus the determination to brew the very best in beer. No wonder Miller High Life is acclaimed the national champion of quality. Now, you fans can be a star quarterback in the Refreshment League. Just call out your signals loud and clear for refreshing Miller High Life beer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris Schenkel speaking at Municipal Stadium as 40,000 football fans are about set to watch Lou Groza kick from left to right to the defending world champion Detroit Lions. The fellow that will bring you all the exciting action is ready to step in as we go to our right. Here again is Earl Gillespie.
The opening whistle. This championship game is underway. Groza boosts it high and it's end over end. Christensen and Gerard, the deep men. It's Jack Christensen, number 1, the 5, cutting to his right now. To the 10, to the 15-yard line. Hit on the 15 and dropped down at about the 18-yard line by Chuck Noll of Dayton University. First and 10 now for the Detroit Lions. And Coach Buddy Parker will probably stick with that quartet which has raised such havoc in the National Football League this season. Bobby Lane at quarterback. Joe Walker at left half. Bill Bowman, a very fine rookie from William and Mary at fullback. And Lou Carpenter will be the right halfback. At the end, Zorn Dibble and possibly Jug Girard. We'll check as they come out of the lineup. Girard is at right end. Flank wide to the left now is Joe Walker. Lane looks over the Cleveland defense. 1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions. The spin, the fake, the handoff this time, and up the middle, going across to the 30, the 35, the 40, the 45, and down across the midfield, down to the 40, and finally pulled down from behind on the 33-yard line by Tommy James was Lou Carpenter. A great run that time. Or rather, Bill Bowman, the rookie from William and Mary, right up the middle on a trap play, and he found the daylight. And there is one of the sensational runs on the very first play from scrimmage out here in Cleveland, Ohio this afternoon. 1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions down on the Cleveland 33-yard line. Bill Walker flanked wide to the left. The right end, Jug Girard is split about 10 yards. Bobby Lane pitches out this time. A fumble in the backfield recovered by Cleveland. And picking up the football now and running with the ball is Johnny Kessel, the left tackle. But the whistle had blown. A pitch out that time from the quarterback, Bobby Lane, was followed in the backfield. And it was the big left tackle of Coach Paul Brown, Cleveland Browns, Johnny Kissel of Boston College, who fell on that loose pigskin. 1st and 10, and there is a break for Cleveland. Now let's see if the Browns can capitalize. One of the great players in the history of pro football, the very fine quarterback, Otto Graham, says he is playing his last pro football game today. Out comes Cleveland, 1st and 10 on its own 37-yard line. Graham is the quarterback. Otto has his end split about 5 yards. Graham looking over the Detroit defense. Otto Graham is back to pass. He looks, he throws, it's deflected. Intercepted by Joe Schmidt on the 45 down to the 40-yard line. Joe Schmidt is falling down to about the 35. What a rousing start out here at Municipal Stadium today. A fumble, then a pass interception, and that was a great catch by Joe Schmidt in his second year with Detroit from the University of Pittsburgh. As the pass was partially deflected on the line of scrimmage, and Schmidt reaching over his right shoulder, grabbed the ball at about the 47 and rolled down to the Cleveland 35. 1st and 10 for the Lions. Straight T formation to the backfield. Jug Girard, the right end, set out about 10 yards. Lane fakes a handoff to Joe Walker. Back to pass. He throws a looper down here for Dorn Dibble. He dropped the ball down the 5-yard line. Incomplete. Dibble had a clear shot for a TD that time down to the 5 off his right shoulder. Calling him out that time was the veteran Tommy James of Ohio State. What a year for the Ohio sports fans. The American League pennant for the Cleveland Indians. The Big Ten title for the Buckeyes of Ohio State. And the Eastern Division championship for Paul Brown's Browns. 2nd down, 10 yards to go now for the Lions. They'll huddle back on the 45-yard line. That was a looping pass thrown by Bobby Lane. Lane, one of the great quarterbacks in the game from the University of Texas in his 7th year, 6'1", 195 pounds. Lane brings his team up to the line of scrimmage here on the 35-yard line. 2nd down, 10 yards to go. Flanked wide to the left is Joe Walker. Back to pass. Lane, he's running wide. He throws a screen that is complete to Carpenter, but he is caught from behind. A very fine tackle by Johnny Kessel. That time it was Carpenter on a screen pass. He rolled down for 3 yards at 3rd and 7 as he moved down to the 32-yard line. And that was an ankle-high tackle by Johnny Kessel. It's Len Ford and Carlin Massey at the end. Johnny Kissel and Don Colo at the tackles. Mike McCormick, the middleman on the 5-man line for the Cleveland Browns. Tommy Ketlin, Walt Michaels, the linebackers. Warren Lahr, John Paul, Kenny Carnes, and Tom James rounding out the defensive backfield. Flank wide to the left is Walker on a 3rd down and 7. He's back to pass, or rather Bobby Lane back to pass. Because he's going to run. He's down to the 30, and he is pulled down on the Cleveland 28-yard line. Len Ford on the bottom of the pile, getting up now. Helped out by Don Colo, the captain of Cleveland. 6'3", a 260-pounder. So now we have that big down coming up for Cleveland. And they send in a possible kicking unit down here on the Cleveland 28-yard line. It's going to be an attempted field goal. And trying will be Joe Walker. Bobby Lane holding on the 36-yard line. The ball is snapped. The boot is up in the air. This one is end over end. It is... What is it? We're waiting now for the signal. It is not good. It is not good. End over end, slightly off to the left. It is good. Finally, the signal from the officials. The kick is good, and that makes the score Detroit 3, the Cleveland Browns nothing.
Yes, fans, and all over America, the score is millions more in favor of Miller High Life, the beer that's cheered as the national champion of quality. And so the world champion Detroit Lions jump off to a 3-0 lead on a 36-yard field goal by the mighty Mustang, Doak Walker. 36 yards away as the ball exchanged hands twice. First, a fumble by Lou Carpenter after a tremendous run as it was recovered by John Kickoff, and then a pass interception. Earl?
Jim Martin kicking off for the Detroit Lions. It comes down, and it's taken here on the 15-yard line by Billy Reynolds to the 20, the 25, the 30. He breaks into the clear. He might go. He's to the 45, the 50, and they catch up to him and pull him down on the Detroit 41. There was a sensational return of that kickoff by Billy Reynolds in his second year from the University of Pittsburgh. And the Cleveland Browns storm right back now. They have moved into Detroit territory down the 41-yard line. Ball is 20 yards in from the far side of the playing field. Cleveland is moving to our right. Field runs east and west. Wind to their back. Otto Graham brings his team out of the huddle. First and 10. Down into Detroit 41. Flanked wide to the right now is Doug Jones. Here is a fake. The handoff goes to the fullback. Bassett. He gets up for about 2 yards. Down to the Detroit 38-yard line. Morris Bassett off his left guard was stopped by Laverne Torges, the number 53 of Washington State. Incidentally, we mentioned the fact that Otto Graham is probably playing his last football game of his brilliant career. Also, the big middleman in Buddy Parker's line, Les Bigeman from the University of Illinois, 300 plus. He goes about 350 pounds. Flank wide to the right once again is Doug Jones. The belly of the end is split. Here's the fake. The handoff this time goes to the left halfback Renfro. He tries right guard, goes down to about the 36-yard line, where it is a third down coming up. Now the shuttle system used by Paul Brown as he sends in a guard. Harold Bradley replacing Chuck Noll, going over the play for Otto Graham. It's third down. 7 yards to go. Cleveland's ball down to the Detroit 36, 37-yard line. Flank wide to the left is Renfro. The right end Lavelli is split about 15 yards. Graham back to pass. He fakes. He's being rushed. He might try to run now. He's caught. He gets away from a couple of men. Rolls out of the pocket. Backs the pass. Throws down here, and it is complete or incomplete. I think it was dropped down on about the 22-yard line. An incomplete is forward pass. He tried to hit Darrell Brewster, and Brewster was guarded that time by Bill Stitt, Carl Karlovich, and Jack Christensen. There was a flag on this last play, and there was some brilliant running in the backfield by Otto Graham as he was almost cornered for about a 15-yard loss. Threw the pass down, intended for Darrell Brewster, his left end, and now the penalty is being marched off against the Cleveland Browns. Last Sunday, these two teams played a magnificent ball game under very adverse conditions. A 15-yard penalty has been called against the Cleveland Browns. Illegal use of hands has moved us back here to the 47-yard line, where it is now a third down and 22. Graham has Renfro set as a flanker to the right. Otto Graham looking over the Detroit defense. The left end set out about 10 yards. Here's the spin. The pitch back this time goes to Doug Jones. Trying to circle his right end. He can't turn the corner. He turns it for about 4 yards and is shoved out of bounds very hard by Sherwin Gandy. Helped out also by Jack Christensen and Joe Schmidt. He stepped out of bounds almost on the midfield stripe. So it is now a fourth down coming up. The ball is on the Cleveland 49-yard line. And back in the punt formation goes one of the great kickers in the history of pro football, Horace Gillum. Horace Gillum standing back on the 34-yard line. Christensen and Gerard back on the double safety now for the Detroit Lions. Here's the boot. High kick, and here is a penalty on this kick. for roughing the kicker. Girard takes. He called for let's see, there might be a double penalty on this play now as Girard signaled for a fair catch. He was hit down on the 7-yard line. Roughing the kicker was called back here on the 35-yard line. And now Otto Graham is out checking with one of the officials here on the 49. Back in punt formation, Horace Gillum was dropped down after punting to Judge Girard, who took the ball to about the 7-yard line. And the officials are now lining up the football. The score is Detroit 3, the Cleveland Browns nothing. Penalty against the Detroit Lions. They march the ball down to the 35-yard line. Roughing the kicker is called against the Lions. So there is a break for the Browns who regain possession. And they move down to the 35 where it's going to be a 1st and 10. Otto Graham, Ray Renfro, Morris Bassett, and Dub Jones in the backfield. Danny Lovelli, Darrell Brewster at the end. Lou Groza, Johnny Sandusky the tackles. Abe Gibran and Chuck Knoll the guards, and Frank Getzky is at center. That's the Cleveland offensive unit. Jones sets wide to the left now as the Browns come out of the huddle. The right end, Lovelli set at about 10 yards. Otto Graham looking over that defense. 1st and 10 on the 35 of Detroit. He pitches out to Bassett. He trips and falls and is dropped down by Jimmy David. Jimmy David. And a little extracurricular activity down here, downfield on about the 24-yard line. Some heated words. Little conversation between Johnny Sandusky and Jack Christensen. Broken up immediately by the officials. Detroit scoring on a booming field goal by Doak Walker. Early in this first quarter, score is 3-0 in favor of the Lions. With 9 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the first period. Straight T formation in the backfield. 2nd down, 12 yards to go. A loss of 2 that time by Bassett as he tried to turn his right end. Otto Graham dropping back to pass, looks downfield. He throws a long looper down here and into the clear and down into the end zone goes Ray Renfro for the touchdown. Looping pass from Otto Graham to his left halfback, Ray Renfro, who had gotten behind the 2 pass defenders on about the 7-yard line. And it was easy for Ray to scoot into the end zone. The score is 6-3 in favor of the Cleveland Browns. And now Lou the Toe Groza will try for the extra point. Holding is Tommy James. James kneeling down on the 9-yard line. Waiting for the snap from center. There it is. The ball is placed. The boot is up in the air. This one is good. And so the score stands. Cleveland 7, the Detroit Lions 3.
A reminder, fans, your host for this 1954 Championship Classic, the Brewers of Miller High Life, the genuine Milwaukee beer. And here at Municipal Stadium, genuine professional football. And as the saying goes, there is no football like pro football, as now the Cleveland Browns, seeking their first National Football League title here in the first period, have a 7-3 lead over the Detroit Lions. And Otto Graham, who last year, in losing to Detroit, had such a bad year, looks brilliant as he hit Ray Renfro for the touchdown. Now the kickoff, and here's Earl.
In the deep position, Judge Girard and Jack Christensen. A booming kickoff by Groza, taken by Christensen on the goal line. He's going to come out to the 5, the 10, the 15. He's hit and dropped down. He was hit that time by Don Paul on the Detroit 19-yard line. Jack Christensen from the goal line to the 19. Or did he make the 20? They put the ball on the 20-yard line where it's 1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions, who send in Dorn Dibble and Judge Girard at the end. Bobby Lane at quarterback. Doak Walker the left half. Bill Bowman is the fullback. And the right halfback I believe, is Hunchy Hornsmar. We'll check. We see the number 4 down there. Carpenter wears number 34. Here is Bobby Lane handing off and rolling out to about the 25-yard line. Brought down by Warren Lahr and Tommy James. That was a gain of approximately 5 yards at second down. 5 yards to go. Bill Bowman, the ball carrier that time for the Detroit Lions. Out comes Detroit. Flanker wide to the left this time is Doak Walker. Bobby Lane calling signals at quarterback. Quick count. He's back to pass. Looking downfield. He's going to get hit. He throws. And this one is complete to Dibble on the 35, the 40. And Dibble is caught and dropped down on the Detroit 40-yard line by Walt Michaels. Walt Michaels helped out by Len Ford. Defensive end who dropped back that time. Complete to Dorn Dibble, and that guy has real shifty feet. He can really move out there. He made it across the 40 to the 41, where it's 1st and 10 for the Lions, who trail by 4 points, 7-3 the score. Doug Gerard moves wide to the right. Doak Walker is set as a flanker to the left. Bobby Lane on 1st and 10 on the 41, and a quick handoff to Hornsmar. Pounds his way over his right tackle to approximately the 45-yard line. We have 7 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in this first quarter. The score is 7-3 in favor of Cleveland. Detroit huddles back on the 35-yard line. Second down, 7 yards to go for the Lions. They have the ball on their own 43-yard line. Flanker to the left. This time is Doak Walker. Lane again. This time he fakes. He comes out on the option series, and he's hit behind the line of scrimmage by Tommy Catlin. Dropped back on the 40-yard line and helped out by the rookie from the University of Texas, Carlton Massey. So Walker, or rather Bobby Lane, lost 4 yards that time on the option play, running parallel to the line of scrimmage to his right. He was dropped back on the 40-yard line, so it is now a 3rd down 11. 3rd down 11, the possession down is coming up. As they break the huddle, Doak Walker moves wide to the left. Doug Gerard set about 10 yards from his left or right tackle. Bobby Lane on this big down, 3rd down 11. Back to pass, throws quickly to Dibble, who drops the ball on a quick look-see pass that time. He hit Dibble around the waist, and he dropped the football on the 48-yard line of Detroit. So it's 4th and 11. And dropping back in the double safety now for Coach Paul Brown, number 46, Billy Reynolds, along with number 44, Chet Hanulak, the rookie from Maryland. It'll be Doug Gerard in punt formation. Gerard, a product of the University of Wisconsin, is standing on the 25-yard line. 4th down, 11 yards to go for the Lions. The snap from center. Gerard has plenty of time, gets off a high spiral, wobbly, and a fair catch is being signaled for, taken by Reynolds here on the 23-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Browns. 1st and 10 for the Cleveland Browns. Into the backfield goes Doug Jones, Otto Graham, Morris Bassett, and number 26, Ray Renfro, who scored that touchdown on the brilliant pass from Otto Graham. Score 7-3. 5 minutes and 45 seconds remain in the first quarter here at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. 3rd straight year these two teams have battled it out for the National Football League Championship. Detroit has won twice. Straight T formation, the ends in tight. Otto Graham back to pass, drifts back to the 13. He is hit by Gandy, gets away from Sherwin. Gandy gets away from another Detroit Lion. He's to the 15, he's going to run to the 20, the 25, the 30 down the sideline, and he steps out of bounds. That time, Otto Graham got away from the eagerly searching hand of Sherwin Gandy, number 85, and also number 72, the rookie from Murray State, left tackle Gil Maines. And he ran up the sideline and made it to the 30-yard line for a gain of 7 yards at 2nd down 3. 2nd down coming up for the Cleveland Browns. They'll huddle back on the 20-yard line. Cleveland with that 4-point lead, 7-3 the score. Doug Jones moves wide to the left. Danny Ravelli set wide to the right now as Otto Graham calls the signals. Otto Graham barking him off. Hands off to Bassett. Bassett pounds up the middle, goes across the 30 to 35, and is still rolling as he was finally stopped at about the 39-yard line for the first down. Morris Bassett, a rookie who had a slow start in pro football this year, but when he came along, so did the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland dropped 2 of its first 3 league games this year, and for a while it looked like the Browns might not be in this game, but they buckled down, won 8 straight before they lost last Sunday to the Detroit Lions on snow-swept field here at Municipal Stadium, 14-10. Right to the left on 1st and 10 goes Ray Renfro. The end split about 10 yards. Otto Graham, the quarterback, and a quick count hands off to Jones. Up the middle goes Dub across the 40 to about the 43. Stopped by Maine, Les Bigeman, and Sherwin Gandy. Ball on the 43-yard line. Gain of 3 yards, 2nd down 7 for the Browns, hopping back on the 24. Or on the 34-yard line, rather. This field is in very excellent shape, considering the fact that they had that snowstorm out here last Sunday. And the ground crew has worked very hard all this Sunday morning. Straight T formation. Otto Graham calling signals. Otto Graham dropping back to pass. He's back to the 35. He throws one down here, and it's intercepted beautifully and dropped out of bounds. And let's see if they call it. It is an interception. An interception. There was a great play by Jack Christensen. As he caught the ball, he was trying to stop his momentum from carrying him out of bounds. And as he tried to hold himself up, he dropped the football and rolled out of bounds, and so did he, but it's an intercepted forward pass. So the Detroit Lions stopped that threatening takeover. Mixed emotions out here this afternoon. That time it was Jack Christensen retaining possession long enough to have it called an interception. Wide to the left goes Joe Walker, 1st and 10. On the 35, a pass downfield is intercepted this time by the Cleveland Browns. On the 35 by Don Paul. He's down. He might go all the way now. He's the 15, the 10. He gets down inside the 10 and is finally caught on the 8-yard line. Don Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, this is pro football at its finest. Real thrills every minute. Interceptions back-to-back that time by Jack Christensen of Detroit, by Don Paul of the Cleveland Browns. And now the Cleveland Browns are deep in Detroit territory inside the 10 on the 8-yard line. It's 1st down and goal to go. Otto Graham talking things over with his teammates in the huddle. Detroit will have to really stiffen now if they hope to stop these Cleveland Browns from adding to their lead. They lead 7-3. Wide to the left goes Doug Jones. The ends are split. Otto Graham takes his time. He has a 1st and goal to go on the 8. He fumbles, and there's a big pile-up on the 10. A big pile-up on the 10-yard line as Otto Graham coming up from under the center. Stopped the ball, but I believe he recovered his own fumble. Otto Graham recovered his own fumble back on the 10-yard line, so 2nd and 10. 2nd down and goal to go. Dub Jones comes out of the lineup. Dub Jones is out, and in goes Billy Reynolds. Ball on the 10-yard line of Detroit in Cleveland's possession. Out come the Browns. Wide to the right this time is Danny Ravelli. Flanker set to the left. Otto Graham back to pass. Looks down. He throws a quickie over the line. It's complete. On the 3-yard line into the end zone goes the Cleveland Browns. I believe that was Darrell Brewster. It was. Bullet pass from quarterback Otto Graham complete to his left end. Darrell Brewster, who caught the ball and was hit hard on the 3-yard line. He crawled into the end zone. So the score is now 13-3 in favor of the Browns. Boy, this Cleveland ball club is striking back with a vengeance out here today. Blue Groves is trying for the extra point. Tommy James is holding. Ball is snapped its place. The boot is up in the air. This one is. The kick is good. And so the score stands Cleveland 14 and Detroit 3.
Fans, remember the name, Miller High Life, your host for today's game, and the beer that brings you refreshment pleasure the year round. And so it is, a 14-3 ball game here in the first quarter with 2 minutes remaining in it. And right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Mutual, the radio network for all America.
And this is WGN, the Chicago Tribune station.
All set to go now. Lou Groza kicking off for the Cleveland Browns. Here is the boot by Groza. It's high, and it's end over end coming down to the end zone, taken by Gerard. He's going to bring it out. Jug Gerard to the 5, the 10. He is hit by Don Paul and pulled down on the 17-yard line. Jug Gerard that time was hitting for the sideline when he was pulled down by Don Paul. And this boy Paul from Washington State really gets down that field in a hurry. So it's 14-3 in favor of the Cleveland Browns over the Detroit Lions. First and 10 for Detroit on its 17-yard line. Detroit goes into a huddle, standing inside the 10. Out come the Lions. Andy Makito is over the ball at center. Flanked wide to the left is Doak Walker. The right end is Jug Gerard. Here is the handoff to the halfback. And I believe it is Hornsmeyer who was spun around by Len Ford and dropped down on the 16-yard line. Punchy Hornsmeyer carrying the mail that time, trying to go around his left end, was really spun around by Lenny Ford and dropped down for a loss on the play of a yard back to the 16-yard line. It's second 11. Second down 11. Second down, 11 yards to go. And with about 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter, the Detroit Lions call for a timeout. The score is Cleveland 14 and the Detroit Lions 3.
Fans, when the referee points his arm downfield, you know he's signaling that a team has made a first down. And when you're in your favorite tavern and you signal for Miller High Life, well, you're scoring a first down in good taste. Yes, sir, fans. You really roll up yardage and refreshment when you enjoy life with Miller High Life, the beer that's cheered as the national champion of quality. So remember, whenever you buy beer, signal for Miller High Life. Always ask for Miller High Life by name. Some 40,000 football fans here at Municipal Stadium. Our partisan crowd it is, as this is the home of the Cleveland Browns looking for their first title in the National Football League. Fans, you'll be seeing the winner of today's game in action next August when the 1954 World Champions of Football meet the College All-Stars in the annual Chicago Tribune All-Star Game at Soldier Field, Chicago. Watch for this thriller on radio and television. Otto Graham, fearless quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, who says that he is retiring after today's ball game, already has thrown for 2 touchdown passes. The first, a toss of some 40 yards to Ray Renfro, who went about 5 yards for the TD. And now, after 12 minutes of play, Graham to Darrell Brewster from a short distance away for the second touchdown. It's 14-3 Cleveland, and here again is Earl Gillespie.
Second down 11 for Detroit, and a quick count. Bobby Lane rolls out back to pass, and the ball is batted down beautifully by Carlton Massey, the left end. Quarterback Bobby Lane, dropping back to pass, was throwing out of the right flat. The ball was batted to the ground by Carlton Massey. So it is third down 11. A lot of these great football stars out here today on the turf at Municipal Stadium will be in action in Los Angeles at the Coliseum in the annual Pro Bowl game, which is really a thriller. Third down, 11 yards to go for the Detroit Lions on their 16-yard line, deep in their own territory. Flanked wide to the left is Doak Walker. Lane back to pass, throws, and it's incomplete, intended for Hunchy Hornsmeyer on the 25-yard line. Incomplete at 4th and 11. And the kicking unit comes in now for Coach Buddy Parker. The score is 14-3 in favor of the Cleveland Browns, and not too much time is left here in the first quarter. 1 minute and 50 seconds left in the clock, which is unofficial time. The official timepiece, of course, is down on the playing field. Back in punt formation, drops Jug Gerard, standing on the 2-yard line. Renfro and Billy Reynolds, or Henulak and Reynolds, are back in the double safety. Here is the boot by Gerard. A low kick is taken here on the 45-yard line by Reynolds to the 50, down to the 45. He goes down the sideline, down to the 35, down to the 30, the 20, the 15, and he is finally caught on the 12-yard line by the booter, Jug Gerard. This boy, Billy Reynolds, has already proved to be a shining star here in this championship game in 1954. A great punt return, but again puts Cleveland deep in Detroit territory, down on the 12-yard line. And the last possible man to get him was the punter, Gerard, and he caught him around the knees and pulled him down. The leading kickoff return artist in the National Football League, Billy Reynolds, proving his worth out here to Coach Paul Brown. Otto Graham has his team lined up in a straight T formation on the 12-yard line. The ends are in tight. Otto Graham spins, hands off, and caught behind the line of scrimmage is Renfro. Ray Renfro was hit that time by Gil Maines. Back on the 14-yard line. So it's a loss of 2, and it is second down 12. 14-3 is the score. Cleveland is leading. Time is running out. In the last minute of play here in the first quarter, 55 seconds to go. As they break the huddle, Otto Graham sends his halfback, Renfro, wide to the left. The left end is split about 5 yards. Otto Graham hands off to Bassett. He skirts off his right tackle, goes down inside the 10, the 5, and he is caught on the 4. Laverne Torgerson pulling him down finally. Helped out by the secondary. Jack Christensen moving in. As Bassett slanted off his right tackle and moved down to the 4-yard line. And now Billy Reynolds goes in, replacing Zeb Jones at right halfback for Cleveland. Third down, and 2 yards to go to a first, 4 yards to go to a touchdown. Cleveland knocking on the door once again. Darrell Brewster moves wide to the left. Billy Reynolds set wide to the right as the flanker. Otto Graham calling signals on the 4-yard line. Graham fakes. He's back to pass. He looks. He throws out here on the right flat to the 5, the 4, and out of bounds. Stepping out of bounds inside the 5-yard line was Ray Renfro. That time Renfro was almost what you might call a safety valve, as Graham looked down in the end zone, found nobody in the clear, and threw out on the right flat behind the line of scrimmage to Renfro, who was circling around on a swing pattern, and he stepped out of bounds, topped out that time by Jimmy David. Where it is almost a first and goal to go inside that 5-yard line. The chain gang is out for the first time this afternoon. It is short of a first down by a foot on the 3-yard line. So it is fourth down, 1 foot to go, and now the Detroit Lions, if they can hold, will take over inside the 5. Here is the big play coming up, 14-3. Cleveland already leads by 11 points. Otto Graham calling signals. Fourth down, 1 foot on the 3-yard line. Otto Graham looking over the defense. Graham this time, hands off, and they go down to the 1 and almost into the end zone. Billy Reynolds that time, and there is the gun. Ending the first quarter of the Championship Classic with the score standing, the Cleveland Browns 14 and the Detroit Lions 3.
The heart of the party when you entertain Miller High Life beer. That flavorful brew that's so perfect for you, Miller High Life beer. Its beautiful label will add to your table a note of distinction and cheer. So welcome these guests, serve them beer at its best, Miller High Life beer.
Yes, fans, make Miller High Life a part of every party. This distinctive beer, so delicious in flavor, so festive in appearance, always strikes the right note in refreshment. Look for the Miller High Life part of every party display at your nearby store. And buy Miller High Life in handy carry-home cartons. Especially during these holidays, keep a good supply of Miller High Life on hand. can highlight your hospitality by serving the very best in beer. Miller High Life, the champagne of bottled beer. And as we await the start of the second quarter here at Municipal Stadium, we can expect plenty of thrills, additional thrills, because the Cleveland Browns are only inches away from a touchdown. Of course, the position of the ball on the playing field has changed as we have moved from right to left. We are to the goal line to our left, as the Detroit defenders have already lined up. The Cleveland Browns, wearing white uniforms with their steel brown trim and orange helmets, are in their oval huddle back on the Detroit 10. The officials today, referee is Tom Timlin, the umpire Sam Wilson, the head linesman Dan Tehan, and the back judge Jimmy Hammer. The field judge is Bill McHugh. That's more or less an all-star alignment of officials out of the National Football League. Action is resumed. Earl, tell us about it.
It's first down, inches to go for the Cleveland Browns. Down almost on that goal line. Otto Graham has a flanker set to the left. Otto Graham calling signals now at quarterback. Graham on a quarterback sneak, throws into the end zone. Well, after the football game that Mr. Otto Graham is displaying out here this afternoon, there's going to be a lot of talking, I think, in that Cleveland Brown front office to try to get out of the change his mind about retiring from this great game of pro football. Now trying for the extra point is Lou Groza, holding his Tommy James. They're all set to go. Waiting for the snap from center. The ball is placed. The boot is up in the air. This one is good. The kick is good. And so the score now stands Cleveland 21. The Detroit Lions 3.
If the referee has signaled, it's good. And you'll say it's good when you sip the superb goodness of Miller High Life, the champagne of bottled beer. Otto Graham, the former All-American from Northwestern University in Chicago, Illinois, has been involved in all three Cleveland Brown touchdowns. First of all, in the first quarter, throwing to Ray Renfro, who scored, and then again to the boy from Purdue, Gerald Brewster, and now in the opening seconds of the second period of play, Graham on his heralded quarterback sneak makes it a 21-3 ball game. And we should point out that the automatic toe of Lou Groza has accounted for 3 of the 21 points thus far. The kickoff and Earl.
Judge Gerard, Jack Christensen back in the double safety. A booming kickoff goes over the end line, and it's going to be a touchback. Naturally, it's first and 10 on the 20. Boy, this guy, Groza, can really boot that football. He was picked by the Sporting News as the most valuable player in the National Football League this year. Lou the Toe Groza, in his 9th year in pro football, he is a Buckeye from Ohio State. First and 10 for the Detroit Lions, who might be astounded by this score. It's 21-3. They are slight favorites in this championship game this season. They have beaten the Cleveland Browns 2 years in a row. Out here 2 years ago, 17-7. And last year in a thriller at Briggs Stadium at Detroit, 17-16. They are gunning for an unprecedented third straight championship. Cleveland has other ideas. Bobby Lane hands off this time to Carpenter. He gets into the secondary. The 35, the 40. Carpenter might go all the way. One man has a chance, and he grabs him on the 35 and pulls him down inside that 30. On about the 28-yard line. And there was a sudden burst of speed by the white halfback, Lou Carpenter. He was pulled down finally by Don Paul, the only boy who had a chance to get him. Here on the 28-yard line, it's first and 10 for the Lions. And the Lions roar right back. All set to go. Bobby Lane at quarterback now. He comes out of the pocket on the option to his right, running off tackle. He can't get anywhere, though. He's hit down on the 25-yard line. A gain of 3 yards by Bobby Lane in the option series that time, running off the split tee, running parallel to his line of scrimmage to his right. He was hit on the 25. Second down, 7 yards to go. A gain of 3 by Lane. Luke Carpenter goes out of the lineup now for the Detroit Lions into the backfield. believe, is Gerard. They're using 3 ends at this moment. Here's the quarterback, Lane, back to pass, looks downfield, throws up the middle. This one is caught, struck, incomplete to Leon Hart. He had it in his hands, but he couldn't hold on to it. Leon Hart was the boy who checked into the lineup. He was covered that time by number 22, Kenny Kahn, and number 20, Don Paul. Third down. 7 yards to go for the Detroit Lions on the Cleveland 25-yard line. Score is 21-3 in favor of Cleveland. Early moments of play in the second quarter. Wide to the left goes Jim Dorn in at left end now. Dorn Dibble is the right end. Lane, this time on the option to his left, is going to run. He's caught from behind, pulled down as he moved inside the 25 to about the 22-yard line. He was stopped by the rookie from Kansas University, Mike McCormick. Mike McCormick, 6'4", 248 pounds. Now the ball is down here on the Cleveland 22-yard line. It is 4th down, 4 yards to go. And the Lions come out. They're going to try for that first down. They are not going for the field goal. Trailing by 18 points. 4th and 4. Bobby Lane pitches out to Doak Walker around the left side of the line. Down to the 20 he goes. Down to the 15 goes that great clutch ball player, and he's pulled down. Picked up the 1st and 10, and there's one of the great clutch players in the game today. The pitchback that time went from the quarterback, Bobby Lane, to his halfback, Doak Walker. As he turned his left end, he found the alley open for the first down as he moved inside the 15-yard line down to the 14-yard line. First down and 10 yards to go for the Lions. Doug Gerard sets wide to the right now. Jim Dorn wide to the left. Here's the quarterback, Bobby Lane, calling signals. A quick count. He goes off his left guard. He gets down to about the 10-yard line. Bobby Lane. On the keep play that time, going between his center and his left guard, moving down to the 11-yard line where he was stopped by Johnny Kissel and Mike McCormick. Second down, 7, a gain by 3 yards by Lane as Detroit has moved down to the Cleveland 11-yard stripe. As they break the huddle, Lane sends Gerard wide to the right and Dorn wide to the left. Bobby Lane calling signals. Pitches out this time. Whoa, and a beautiful tackle back here on the 22-yard line. He pitched out to his fullback, Bowman, who was hit behind the line of scrimmage by Tommy Catlin, who shut the gap and really dropped him down. So now it is third down, 18. Third and 18 for the Lions on the Cleveland 23-yard line. Detroit huddling on the 32. A big play coming up, the possession down. Third and 18, flanker to the right, Gerard. Bobby Lane is dropping back to pass, looks downfield, he throws up the middle. This one is caught by Dibble. He's dropped down to the 5-yard line. A beautiful leaping stab and a great catch by Dorn Dibble. He was hit down immediately by Tommy James and Tom Catlin. And now the ball is down here on the 4-yard line. And it's close enough to call for the chain gang. And out they go. This might be a first down inside the 5. A wait. They're stretching out the tape. It is short by about 6 inches. 4th down and 6 inches to go for the Detroit Lions. Down to the Cleveland 4-yard line. Makes that the 4.5. Bob Gain is going into the lineup for Coach Paul Brown, replacing Tommy James. Bob Gain, All-American from the University of Kentucky. 4th down, 6 inches to go on the 4-yard line. A pitch out to Bowman. Bowman to the 5, the 4, the 3. Into the end zone goes Bill Bowman, the fullback. They needed 6 inches for the first and goal, and Bowman went all the way, 4.5 yards into the end zone between his left end and his left tackle. And the score is now 21-9 in favor of the Cleveland Browns. Trying for the extra point is Doak Walker. Holding is Bobby Lane. The lines are poised. The snap from center of the ball placed. The boot is up in the air. This one, the kick is good. And so the score now stands at Cleveland 21 and the Detroit Lions 10.
Fans, in just a few days, we launch a new year. And it's a special year for the Miller Brewing Company. For 1955 marks the 100th anniversary of Miller High Life, the champagne of bottled beer. 21-10 is the score here in the second period of play after 3.5 minutes in the second quarter. A large and high-scoring ball game can certainly be expected as the Detroit Lions and the Cleveland Browns wound up the 35th season of the National Football League, leading the league in the number of points scored. The Detroit Lions scoring 337, the Cleveland Browns 1 point away at 336. Touchdown producers they have been both on the ground and in the air.
Jimmy Martin kicking off for the Detroit Lions, end over end, coming down to Billy Reynolds on the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25, spun around and dropped down to about the 31-yard line, where it is now a first and 10 for the Cleveland Browns on their 32-yard line. Return that time by Billy Reynolds. A real speedster, 190-pounder who stands 5'10", very compact build from the University of Pittsburgh. 21-10 is the score in favor of Cleveland over the Detroit Lions, in case you're just joining our mutual broadcast. Ends in tight as Otto Graham looks over that Detroit defense. Straight T formation in the backfield. First down, Graham dropping back to pass. He's going to run. He's up the middle to the 30, the 35. He tried to cut it. He's dropped down to the 38. Laverne Torgerson and Sherwin Gandy displaying outstanding sportsmanship that time as Graham cutting sharply, slipped and fell. They're moving up to drop him, but they just stood over him instead of pouncing on Otto so that he wouldn't get up and go again. But Graham managed to pick up 6 yards, and it's going to be a second down 4. Second down and 4 yards to go for the Browns. Cleveland out of the tunnel. The balanced line, flanker to the left end is set at about 10 yards. Second down 4. Cleveland has the ball on its own 37-yard line. The handoff to Bassett. Bassett off his left guard across the 40 and is hit on the 40-yard line. Hugging Bassett to the ground that time was number 72, Gil Mayne. Here has been one of the outstanding rookies in the National Football League this season. Gil Mayne from Murray State. A rookie, 6'3", 230 pounds. Detroit has a relatively young ball club, and a club to watch out for many years to come, of course. Flank to the right this time is Dub Jones, calling signals out of Graham. He has a third down, about 2 yards to go. He hands off to Bassett. He's trying to knife off as he's hit behind the line of scrimmage by Carl Karlovich. And Gil Mayne once again back on about the 38-yard line. Morris Bassett, as he tried to slide off his left tackle and gain those important 2 yards for the first down. He did not make it, though, and now a double safety drops back for the Lions. Judd Girard and Jack Christensen, as into punt formation goes Horace Gillum. Gillum is standing on the Cleveland 23-yard line. Snap from center. Takes plenty of time. He gets off a high, wobbly spiral, and calling for a fair catch is Girard on the 18-yard line. First and 10 for the Lions. Horace Gillum's punting gives his end plenty of time to get down under that punt receiver. And that time, Girard, as he caught the ball, was surrounded by Cleveland Browns. So it is first and 10 for the Detroit Lions on the 18-yard line of Detroit. Score is 21-10. We have 9 minutes remaining in this first half here at Municipal Stadium, Cleveland, Ohio, on the shores of Lake Erie. Flank to the left this time is Girard. Back to pass his lane. He throws out the right back, complete to Carpenter. He tries to cut. He slips, moves across the line of scrimmage to about the 24-yard line. Stopped out there by number 24, Warren Lahr, and number 82, Carlton Massey. Pass complete in the right flat behind the line of scrimmage to the right halfback, Lou Carpenter, who made it up to the Detroit 24-yard line. We're at second down and approximately 5 yards to go. Detroit huddles back in the 15. Wearing their Honolulu blue jerseys with a silver helmet. Makita's over the ball at center. Flanked right to the left this time is Gerard. Here's the quarterback, Bobby Lane. Looking over, taking plenty of time right now. He pitches out to Bowman around the left side. Bowman across the line of scrimmage up to the 30-yard line, and he's hit very hard. Bill Bowman on a sweep around his left end was hit by Walt Michaels and Don Colo on the Detroit 30-yard line, just across the 30, where it is good for the 1st and 10. First down, 10 yards to go. Cleveland has an 11-point lead. The score is 21-10 as we play midway in the second quarter. A lot of excitement out here already, and a lot more thrills coming your way before this afternoon is over. Flank wide to the left once again is Gerard. The quick count, the handoff this time goes to Carpenter off his left guard. He comes up for maybe 5 yards as he's dropped down on the 35-yard line. On the bottom is John Paul. John Paul making the tackle along with Mike McCormick. Carpenter moving up to the 35-yard line. Where it is now second down and 6 yards to go, a gain of 4. Flanker to the left. The right end dribble is set out about 10 yards. Bobby Lane calling the signals. Lane in a quick, he's trying to throw a pass. The ball is knocked out of his hand, stolen away by Cleveland. Mike McCormick stole the football from Bobby Lane, and the Browns take over on the Detroit 31-yard line. Great defensive maneuver by Mike McCormick, the rookie from Kansas University. Danny Lavelli, Billy Reynolds checking in now for the Detroit Lions. Out comes, for the Cleveland Browns. Out comes Dub Jones. Defensive backs, John Paul and Tommy James coming off the field. First down 10. Otto Graham has his team lined up in a safety formation on the Detroit 31-yard line. Otto Graham hands off to his left halfback. Renfro goes down inside the 30 to about the 28. Renfro going down to the Detroit 28-yard line. On the bottom is Les Bigeman, along with Jimmy Kane from the University of Alabama, the right end. Gain of 3 yards. Second down, 7 yards to go. Once again, Cleveland is inside that Detroit 30-yard line. And the Browns lead 21-10 out here at Municipal Stadium. As the Browns come out, they line up in a straight T formation, no flankers. The ends are in tight. Second down, 7 on the 28. The fake by Graham. He rolls out of the pocket in the bootleg. He's back to pass, throws, and it is 4th and it's taken by Cleveland on the 8-yard line. 3 men handle that football. And the boy who hung onto the pigskin was Ray Renfro after it was knocked out of the hands of Darrell Brewster by Jack Christensen. Ball was hit up into the air, and it was taken out of there beautifully by Renfro. And it's 1st and goal to go for the Browns down to the 7-yard line. There was a break, and now let's see if the Browns can capitalize on that break. Otto Graham at quarterback now. Calling signals. Graham at a quarterback sneak to the 5-yard line, and Sherwin Gandy, or rather Jimmy Kane, helping pull him down. Ball is on the 5-yard line. Word is second down and goal to go. Second down goal for the Cleveland Browns. They have that 11-point fold. The score is 21-10. And the Browns huddle on the 14-yard line. A whistle blows down on the playing field. And once again, it's timeout here in Municipal Stadium at Cleveland, Ohio. The score at the moment is Cleveland 21, the Detroit Lions 10.
The beer that always tastes like more Miller. High Life. Get a six-pack carton at your store. Miller High Life beer, waiting there for you. In cans and bottles too. Get the finer flavor of a finer brew. Miller High Life beer.
Yes, fans, try the beer that always tastes like more. Distinctive, delicious Miller High Life. The genuine Milwaukee beer that's so right for every refreshment occasion. At halftime on our coast-to-coast broadcast and around the world, we will have some interesting guests, including Elroy Crazy Legs Hurst, the recently retired star of the Los Angeles Rams. Along with in the background, you'll be hearing the music of the Berea High School Band, noted for their tremendous formations and their wonderful music that they have provided at many occasions here at Municipal Stadium. Right now, as the Cleveland Browns lead the Detroit Lions by a score of 21-10, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Mutual, the radio network for all America.
This is WGN, the Chicago Tribune station, Chicago 11, serving the Middle West.
Time had been called out on the field here at Municipal Stadium as play will resume in the vicinity of first base, between first and second base, on the skin portion of the field, which has been kept in the best possible condition by the fine groundskeeper, Mr. Emil Bossard. Play is resumed, and once again, here is Earl Gillespie.
Second down and 5 yards to go to a touchdown. The Cleveland Browns deep in Detroit territory. Here is Otto Graham rolling under the pocket to his right. He's getting away now. He's under the 5. He hurdles over into the end zone for a touchdown. Otto Graham is having this afternoon. That's his second touchdown of the afternoon. The score is now 27-10 in favor of the Cleveland Browns over the favored and defending National Football League champion Detroit Lions. Lou Groza will try for the extra point with Tommy James holding. Waiting for the snap from center. There it is. The ball is placed. The boot is up there. And the kick is good. And so the score stands. Cleveland 28. The Detroit Lions 10.
A reminder, fans, to look for, ask for Miller High Life whenever and wherever you buy beer. Yes, get the best by asking for the best. Always ask for Miller High Life. Otto Graham engaged in all 4 touchdowns that the Cleveland Browns have scored. He threw for 2 to Ray Renfro and another to Darrell Brewster on a quarterback sneak. The opening minutes of this second quarter went only inches for the TD, and now around the right side of the line for the 4th touchdown scored by the Browns. And that elusive honor of winning 3 titles in the National Football League consecutively seems a difficult one to get.
Here's the kickoff by Groza. This one is high and it's end over end, driving Gerard back into the end zone. He takes it on the 1-yard line. Gerard to the 5, the 10, cutting to his right now. Tries to spin away. He's caught on the 15-yard line and pulled down to stay. Doug Gerard faded back into the end zone, and he realized the kick was going to fall short of the double stripe. He took it on the left to 1. Back to the 15, where it's now a first down, 10 yards to go for the Lions. Who trail 28-10 against a highly inspired Cleveland Brown 11. Flank to the left this time. Here's Bobby Lane handing off to Bowman around the right side, running hard, but he's hit after about 2 yards. Out to the 17-yard line. On the bottom of the pile, Johnny Kissel. Helped out by Tommy Catlin. Bowman that time was running very hard, trying to circle his right end. He picked up 2 yards. It's second down 8. From the 15 to the 17. And Detroit goes into a huddle back inside that 10-yard line. Out come the Lions, and as they do, they send Doak Walker wide to the left. Doug Gerard is the right end. Doran Dibble the left end. Bobby Lane back to pass on second down. Looks, he throws a sideliner, complete to Gerard. And Gerard tries to get away, but he is stopped here on the 33, 34-yard line but it's good for the first down. Bobby Lane to his right end, Jug Girard. Now they say that Girard was stopped on the 32-yard line. First down 10 for the Detroit Lions with a score Cleveland 28 and Detroit 10. 3 minutes and 35 seconds remain in the first half. Wide to the left goes Doak Walker. Bobby Lane, a quarterback, looks back. He steps back a couple of steps, throws out here. It's complete to Walker. He spins away from one man, but he can't. He gets up to the 40-yard line and is pushed back to the 38. He spun away from one Cleveland pass defender, but was hit as he moved out for yardage on the 40-yard line. And they say that he crossed the 40 to the 41. Bobby Lane to Doak Walker. Go to second down. Second down, about 2 yards to go. Wide to the left is Doak. Back to pass again, Lane. He throws out here to the right halfback, Carpenter, and as he tried to cut back, he was in trouble and dropped back to the 37. Dropped that time by Kenny Kahn. Back on the 37-yard line. Tommy Catlin's numbers on the back of his jersey have been obliterated by the mud, but you can see that number 50 on the front of his jersey. He helped out Kahn that time in stopping Luke Carpenter. Third down and 6 for the Detroit Lions on their own 37-yard line. And number 37, Walker, sitting wide to the left. Girard set it about 10 yards to the right. Here is Bobby Lane back to pass. He throws out here. This one is caught. It's stolen away by Walt Michaels down to 45, down to the 40. Walt Michaels down to the 35, and it's down to the 31. Boy, there is plenty of grand larceny out here today. That ball was stolen by Walt Michaels. And Cleveland, once again, is deep in Detroit territory, this time on the 31-yard line, first down and 10. 28-10 is the score. The Browns are pounding now, trying for another score. A timeout is called by the Cleveland Browns. As we just mentioned, Cleveland is leading by 18 points, 28-10. And now we're going to bring in our good friend, Chris Schenkel.
And the pass defense of the Cleveland Browns, which tops the National Football League statistics after 12 seasonal games, is showing up well here again today, as the Browns this year allowed only 42% of the opposition's passes to be completed. Let's see what the Browns can do against the Lions. It's 28-10.
Ball on the 31-yard line. Detroit 31. Here is Cleveland out of the tunnel. First down 10. Otto Graham back to pass, looking downfield. He throws a long looper down here to Renfro. He's got it, a beautiful catch in the end zone. Believe you me, fans, there was one of the great catches we have had the experience to witness this year. Ray Renfro, the left halfback from North Texas State, down full speed inside the 5-yard line, had gotten behind the Detroit pass defense. He leaned over, caught the ball below his knees, raced into the end zone to make the score 34-10. Throws a trying for the extra point. Tommy James holding, the ball snap placed, the boot is up there, and the kick is good. And that makes the score Cleveland 35. The Detroit Lions, 10.
Fans, in just a few days, Miller High Life proudly celebrates 100 years in America. During this 100th anniversary, make it a point to enjoy life with Miller High Life. Tremendous applause. Sounds as though it's coming from a packed municipal stadium, which would hold some 75,000 fans, but in the neighborhood, perhaps, of between 40 and 50,000 fans are cheering for a fellow that has guided the Cleveland Browns to 5 divisional titles, a 9-year veteran with the club, quarterback Otto Graham, and his team play has been great today as he has been involved in all 5 of the touchdowns.
Here's the kickoff by Lou Groza. This one is a booming end over end, and it's going to be out of the end zone, over the end line, a touchback. First and 10 for the Detroit Lions on the 20-yard line. You never get in trouble if you've got a boy who can kick that ball over the end line because the opposing team cannot bring it back. First down 10 for the Lions. This is an amazing score out here in this first half. History is being written this afternoon. 35-10 is the score in favor of Cleveland. Detroit Lions out of a huddle. Bobby Lane is the quarterback. Bobby Lane back to pass, looks downfield now. He throws a long looper down here intended for Gerard. Over his head down on the Cleveland 45. The highest scoring game in the history of the championship struggle in the National Football League took place in 1940, and I know that the football followers will remember this one because it was then the Chicago Bears 73, Washington nothing. 2 other teams have tried with what the Detroit Lions are trying today, and that is 3 straight championships. The Bears of 1940 and 41, the Philadelphia Eagles of 1948 and 49. Neither could make it. Wide to the left is Judge Gerard. Here's the quarterback, Bobby Lane, on second down, 10 on the 20-yard line, his own 20. Quick count, back to pass, looks, throws, incomplete to Gerard. And here is roughing the passer. Number 79, Bob Gaines of Kentucky, dropping down Bobby Lane back in the 10-yard line after he has thrown the football. It'll be first and 10 on the 35-yard line, a 15-yard penalty for roughing the passer called against Bob Gaines. First and 10 as the Lions move up now to their 35-yard line. As they come out, Jim Dorn moves wide to the left. Doug Gerard is set wide to the right. The quarterback, Bobby Lane, is dropping back to pass, looking downfield. He's being rushed now. He hasn't got much time. He throws to Walker on the 35, the 40. Walker to the 45, across the midfield. He's down to the 40, down to the 35, and he tips out of bounds on the 35-yard line. Once again, this time it was Doak Walker being used as a safety precaution out of the right flat behind the line of scrimmage. Lane, who was almost hit, threw out of the right flat to Walker, and he traveled down that sideline. Can really move and was finally helped out of bounds on the 35 of Cleveland, where it's first and 10 for Detroit. One minute and 30 seconds remaining in the first half. 1 minute, 30 seconds. The ends are split. Here's the quarterback Lane on first down. Back to pass again. Throws down here over the head of Gerard. Out of bounds. Incomplete at second down and 10 as Lane overshot his mark that time. A sideline pass. First down pass to Gerard. So the clock stops at 1 minute and 25 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Detroit is trailing. The score is Cleveland 35, the Detroit Lions 10. And the Lions huddle on the 45-yard line. As they come out, Andy Makita, the center, is over the ball. Flanker to the left this time. Back again to pass is Lane. Bobby's looking down. He throws here a sideliner complete to Gerard. He is stumped on the 29-yard line, and he was hit very hard by number 24, Warren Larm. That time we had to wait until Larm turned around because his back is all muddy. Timeout is called by the Detroit Lions, and that stops the clock at 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining in the second quarter. And Chris, I think out here this afternoon that the amazing part of it is that these Cleveland Browns, who have lost 8 consecutive games to the Detroit Lions, look so much more powerful, and that's because of the score, 35-10. But this, I think, is going to be a wide-open football game all the way.
Well, the Cleveland Browns, who started out rather slow in the 1954 National Football League season, as we saw them play many times, have certainly come along into a beautifully molded together club. And with Paul Brown at the helm, his line, defensive line, had topped the National Football League in stopping the opposition's rushing or running game. And that's what they're doing here today. And, of course, Bobby Lane is having a lot of trouble getting enough time to throw accurate forward passes because of the crashing in on the right side. Len Ford, the 250-pound All-American from the University of Michigan, and the rookie from the University of Texas on the left side of the defensive line, Carlton Massey. Lane has thrown many more passes than Otto Graham this afternoon, but Mr. Graham, who has thrown 3 touchdown passes, has been a little bit more on the accurate side, has gotten tremendous blocking in the pocket. Unofficially, the statistics that we have, Bobby Lane for Detroit has completed a total of 9 passes in 17 tries, while Otto Graham has thrown 7, completing 4, 3 of them for TDs. It's 35-10 with only a minute and 15 seconds remaining in the first half of play on a beautiful football afternoon.
First and 10 now for the Detroit Lions down to the 24-yard line. Lane hands off on a reverse to Doak Walker. He's going to pass. He might run. Now he's down to the line of scrimmage, and he is hit very hard. The Doker was caught that time. He was circling as he came around on the just about the old Statue of Liberty type play, taking the ball from Bobby Lane, circling to his left. It looked like he was going to throw. Everybody was covered, so Walker that time had a run, and he was dropped down. And that tight play ate up a lot of time, so a timeout is called by the Lions to stop the clock with 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining. Walker managed to get back to the line of scrimmage, the 24-yard line, where it's now a second down and 10. Into the line goes Chuck Noll for the Cleveland Browns. Chuck Noll is going in. Now he just went in to check something with number 82, the left end, Carlton Massey. One of the big surprises out here today, of course, is the fact that we have a mid-fall afternoon with a temperature around 53 degrees. Back in 1929, 30-31, the only team in the history of pro football to win 3 straight world championships, the Green Bay Packers, and that was before the playoff title games, which started in 1933. The first one pitted the Chicago Bears against the New York Giants, with the Bears winning 23-21. The voice, the television voice of the New York Giants, Chris Schenkel.
And in the background, on Mutual, you hear the Cleveland Brown Band. Paul Brown, in talking to him down on the field prior to the start of this ball game, told us that today was the best weather that they had enjoyed throughout the entire 1954 home stand. We recall being here on one afternoon as the Browns played the Giants when it was snowing and positively miserable with the temperature around the 20-degree mark. But today, around 53 degrees with not a cloud overhead, a few hanging over the tremendous Lake Erie as we look out of our broadcasting booth. The field lights are on, as prescribed by the Commissioner of the National Football League, Mr. Bert Bell. They were turned on 1/2 hour prior to the start of the ball game to give the players an opportunity to get accustomed to them, but I doubt if they'll be necessary, as halftime is only a short time away. The Lions try to score, and Earl will tell you how they try it.
Second down and 10 on the Cleveland 24-yard line. Here's a quick pass. It's complete to Gerard. Gerard on the 15 fumbles the ball as a big fight for the football. On the 15-yard line, let's see he'll recover that pigskin. Cleveland Browns take over, stopping another Detroit threat. Pass was complete. Bobby Lane to Judge Gerard. He was moving quickly to his left, and he was hit from behind, from the blind side, and was dropped down. He lost the football, recovered by Cleveland on the 15-yard line, where it's now a first and 10 for the Browns. And the clock shows 50 seconds remaining in the first half. $50 remaining, and Cleveland, of course, will run off the clock as the Browns lead 35-10 here in the first half. A lot of scoring, 5 touchdowns for Cleveland, 1 for the Detroit Lions, and 1 field goal by Doak Walker. Here's the handoff going from the quarterback, Otto Graham, and a little extracurricular activity down here, as it was number 44, Chet Hanulak, busting into the center of the line, moving up for about a 3-yard gain, 2nd down 7. 2nd down and 7 yards to go. Cleveland again huddling inside the 10. With about 5 seconds to play. And there is the gun ending the first half of this World Championship game with a score standing. The Cleveland Browns 35, the Detroit Lions 10. Stay tuned for our special halftime guest immediately following this friendly word from your host.
We'll take a cup of kindness yet for the sake of old Lang Syne.
Old Lang Syne, a treasured song with special meaning at this time of year. And in 1955, a song of special significance to Miller High Life. For during the new year, Miller High Life will proudly celebrate 100 years in America. And as they launch its 2nd century, the Miller Brewing Company pledges that Miller High Life, as always, will be brewed with quality uppermost in mind. And so, a special anniversary toast to you. May you always share a cup of kindness. May you always enjoy life with Miller High Life.
A cup of kindness yet for the sake of old Lang Syne.
And it is halftime here at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. Chris Schenkel speaking along with Earl Gillespie. As the Detroit Lions, the defending champions, are trying to make it 3 titles in a row and to become the first in the National Football League. But the Cleveland Browns have had plenty to say about it in the first half of play, as they lead 35-10. Otto Graham has been superlative, as he has throughout the 9 years with the Cleveland Browns in professional football. And this being his last day, he is certainly going at it in a big way. Our halftime guest here is one of the most electrifying football players that we and perhaps you have had the opportunity of seeing. Now turned movie star after 9 successful years as a professional football player. I'm speaking of the great All-American from Wisconsin and Michigan, Elroy Crazy Leg Church. Hello, Chris. How are you? Well, Elroy, you are seeing a brand of football out here that I know you like to play. I'd like your comments on the game.
One of the greatest I've ever seen, especially under the conditions. The footing isn't too sure. I think Graham is doing a great job of passing, and his receivers are doing a wonderful job of getting open. And this catch of Reynolds in the end zone was one of the, or Renfro's rather, in the end zone was one of the finest I have ever seen.
Well, Elroy, you should know, as you and Don Hudson are 2 of the fellows that share the record of catching the most touchdown passes in one season, 17.
Yeah, just to be close to a guy like that is good enough for me.
I believe in an all-star game in Chicago several years ago, you were on the receiving end of an Otto Graham forward.
Yes, Otto threw one in 46 to me, good for 68 yards and a touchdown against the Rams, by the way.
And by the way, speaking of touchdowns scored, I understand that in the movie world you have scored 1 hit and another big one is coming up. As you start in a story depicting your life called Crazy Legs, I'd like to hear about the Warner Brothers production of Unchained.
Well, we have a movie about a new type of prison which is out of Chino, California. It's called Unchained. It's a full-length feature in a movie. It will be released by Warner Brothers February 1st. It's made by Hall Barter Productions. I think it'll be a very interesting and fine movie.
What type of part do you play?
I have the lead. I'm kind of a cross between a nice villain and a bad good guy.
Well, who is the villain, the real villain?
The real villain is a man named Sanders who makes all the trouble in the prison.
And, of course, the heroine, there must be one.
Barbara Hale.
Ooh, sounds very interesting. When will it be released?
February 1st.
I noticed that during the game you were watching it with great interest. Is this one of several football games that you've seen?
No, Chris, this is the first pro football game I have ever seen from the stand.
Well, now that you have retired after an illustrious career as a professional football player, may your movie career be just as great, and I know it will be, and we all wish you the best of luck and a Happy New Year as you head for Wausau, Wisconsin for a brief visit and then back to Hollywood.
Thank you, Chris, very much.
Elroy Crazy Legs Hirsch, retired star of the fabulous Los Angeles Rams in California. At halftime, it is a 35-10 ball game. Cleveland leading as the Berea High School Band, some 80 members strong, entertain the some 40,000 fans looking on a beautiful football afternoon. At this point of our halftime program, we bring back to our microphone your play-by-play announcer, Earl Gillespie.
Many thanks, Chris. And right now, I'd like to speak for the legions of people in tribute to the memory of Frederick C. Miller, who, along with his son and 2 trusted employees, met an untimely death in a plane crash the evening of Friday, December the 17th. How does one find the proper words about a man who meant so much to his family, his community, his company, and the world of sport? Perhaps the thoughts that are in the hearts of all of us who knew him well were best expressed in an editorial appearing in the Milwaukee Sentinel the morning after the tragedy. Here in part was what it said. Fred Miller died last night, and his son died with him. It is not overly important that he was president of the Miller Brewing Company, or newly elected president of the Milwaukee Association of Commerce, or director of the Green Bay Packers, or captain of one of Notre Dame's famous football teams, or one of the principal backers of the Braves, or the serious and active angel of civic and charitable projects beyond the count of this sad moment. It is important that he was a man, an American, a believer in giving of himself and of his substance to his fellow men. It is important that he was a man of great Christian faith and principle, and a man devoted with complete heart to his family. Last night died a good man and a son of great promise. May their memory be with us as long as men strive for fitness and service to fellow men, and may their souls rest in fitting peace forever.
Many thanks, Earl, for a most moving tribute to a good man and a great sportsman. We know how much Fred Miller meant to you and to people the country over. Here at Municipal Stadium at halftime, the Cleveland Browns, seeking their first National Football League title in 5 years, are leading the Detroit Lions by a score of 35-10. As the Browns, generaled by the great Otto Graham, scored 14 points in the first quarter, coming back in the second quarter to score 21. This Brown-Lion rivalry began back in 1950, has continued through the years. This is the third time that these two clubs have met in championship play. In 1952, the Detroit Lions beat the Cleveland Browns 17-7. Last year, 1953, as Earl and I brought you the report on Mutual, the Detroit Lions won 17-16. And of course, 35-10 here reflects definitely what has happened in the first half. But the Detroit Lions, who are noted for a second half team, could come back and really stage more thrilling action, as there is no football like pro football. We spoke about the Berea High School Band entertaining here at halftime. The halftime entertainment also is being augmented by the famous Navy drill team from the Naval Air Station in Akron, Ohio. And as this is the first appearance at a major sports event for this great organization, they will receive a large round of applause, just as the Berea High School Band has, as they go to the closed end of Municipal Stadium. There are approximately 25 members in the Navy drill team from the Naval Air Station, and they are just off a great performance, a 3-day one, as a matter of fact, at the National Air Show in Dayton, Ohio. As they perform, 40,000 fans look on, and they wonder what will happen in the second half as the hometown Cleveland Browns have a 35-10 victory. As we reach the midpoint of our halftime intermission, we'd like to remind you that this is the broadcast of the 1954 World Championship football game, with the score at halftime standing Cleveland 35, Detroit 10.
And the Brewers of Miller High Life wish to take this opportunity to send sincerest holiday greetings to their coast-to-coast family of dealers and distributors, to the many friendly bartenders and tavern keepers, to the store managers and clerks, to the waitresses and waiters, to all the many fine folks who so proudly serve and sell Miller High Life, our best wishes and sincere thanks for helping to make Miller High Life a beer of such outstanding popularity. To all of you, the happiest of holidays from Miller High Life. Now let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Mutual, the radio network for all America.
This is WGN Chicago, the Chicago Tribune station serving the Middle West.
How I love to drive my Buick with my love sitting by my side. Pretty girl in shiny Buick fills a fella with so much pride. Driving down the road.
And now, fans, welcome to the second half of the thrilling World Championship Pro Football game with the Cleveland Browns battling it out with the Detroit Lions. Your host for this half is your Buick dealer, who offers you Buick's 4 thrills of the year in style and performance. The beautiful budget-price 1955 Buick Special. America's greatest power for dollar package, the new Buick Century. The superlative buy in big cars, the 1955 Buick Super. And the elegant, richly appointed 1955 Roadmaster, custom built by Buick. And now, let's see what's happening on the field here at Municipal Stadium. The Naval Air Station drill team from Akron, Ohio, are demonstrating their skill in the manual of arms in a manner which is amazing to some 40,000 fans here. They're certainly ably directed under the command of Drill Master Lieutenant Paul A. Brandorf, and they have become one of the nation's leading precision drill teams. And the interesting part of it is that this is an all-volunteer group. Its members, of course, are all on active duty as aircraft mechanics, administrative personnel, hospitalmen, and even cooks in the naval service. And they master the maneuvers that we are witnessing here by practicing in their spare time. So it's with a great deal of interest that everyone is looking on, and we should point out that a great display of music and of marching formations was put on by the Berea High School Band from Berea, Ohio. In the first half of play, let's see how the scoring went, as Otto Graham has been in all of the 5 touchdowns scored for the Cleveland Browns. The game was only 3.5 minutes old when Doak Walker kicked a 36-yard field goal, which was good, putting the Lions ahead 3-0. And then the first quarter, 6 minutes old, Graham threw to Ray Renfro, climaxing a 45-yard scoring pass play, putting the Browns ahead 6-3, and Lou the Toe Groza on the conversion, it was 7-3. Just 6 minutes later, at the 12-minute point of the first quarter, it was a pass interception back-to-back that brought Otto Graham away from center on the snap. He threw to Darrell Brewster short, and Brewster went into the end zone standing up, 13-3, and Groza made it a 14-3 ball game. Reynolds, on a punt return, set up another Brown touchdown, and the waning moments of the first quarter. The gun sounded ending the period, and as the second quarter got underway, Otto Graham, from inches away from the Detroit goal line, went over on a quarterback sneak, putting the Browns ahead 20-3, and then Groza again with a point after. It was 21-3. Billy Bowman scored a touchdown in the second quarter for the Detroit Lions after the Detroit club marched beautifully upfield. Bowman going over, he's the fullback, making it a 20-9 ball game, and Walker with the point after. It was 21-10. Ray Renfro saved a pass, and Otto Graham quickly moved his club at the 8-minute point of the second quarter. Graham going around in for the touchdown. It was 28-7, including Groza's conversion. At the 13-minute point, only 2 minutes remaining in the first half, Graham combined with Ray Renfro on a 31-yard scoring pass play, putting Cleveland in front 34-10. Groza made it 35-10, and that is the way it stands here at halftime in Cleveland, Ohio. The statistics here at halftime do not necessarily reflect what has happened in the first half of play, as Detroit has racked up 5 first downs, Cleveland 4. Yardage-wise, the net yardage rushing by Detroit has been 125 as compared to Cleveland's 55. As for the total yards gained, Detroit was 237, and for Cleveland, 155. Hello again, fans. Before the second half kickoff in this great pro championship game, a word about a tremendous thrill that's in store for you. The thrill you feel when you test the takeoff of a 1955 Buick. This, fans, is the thrill of the year. Because when your foot pushes that gas pedal past full throttle, something happens that never happened before in an automobile. You switch the pitch. Yes, sir. Your foot activates Buick's new brilliantly inspired transmission. Variable pitch Dynaflow drive. 20 power propellers actually switch to performance pitch to deliver an extraordinary burst of power for breathtaking getaway or safer passing on the highway. And to resume normal driving, all you need to do is lift your foot for cruising position and marvelous gasoline economy. No doubt about it, the new Buick is the car for you, friends. The great performance car of 1955 with tremendous record power in its great V8 with variable pitch Dynaflow and bold-styled new beauty. Truly, the 1955 Buick is the thrill of the year. See your Buick dealer and drive a new Buick. The Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions in muddied uniforms are back on the playing field as the condition, the top soil, the top turf, being slippery and wet. The white uniforms of the Browns are covered with mud. As for the Detroit Lions, they today are wearing their Honolulu blue jerseys with silver numbers, silver helmets, and silver pants. Well, the pants look a little bit on the brown side. That's Municipal Stadium brown. And the Browns, who lead at halftime 35-10, are now going out on the field to our right, and to the left are the defending champion Lions. It will be the Lions kicking off to the Browns. As Billy Reynolds and Chet Hanulak, the rookie from University of Maryland, are back in twin safety on about their own 8. It is Jim Martin who is out there teeing up the ball on his own 40, about to kick off. This is for the world title in professional football, and here again is Earl Gillespie.
The opening kickoff of the second half by Martin. It's end of Wren coming down, taken on the 10-yard line by Billy Reynolds. He cuts to his left to the 20, gets away from one man to the 25, and now he's hit here on the 26-yard line, drops down to the 27. And the kicker that time, Jim Martin, was the boy who brought him down, helped out by Gil Maines. And number 70, the rookie from California, Gerald Perry. First down and 10 for the Cleveland Browns. Again, that kickoff brought back by the high-stepping Mr. Billy Reynolds of the University of Pittsburgh. First down and 10 for the Cleveland Browns on their 31-yard line. Score 35-10. Cleveland has that big 20-point lead. And they go in their huddle, standing back on the 20-yard line. The Browns come out. Over the ball at center, one of the greats in the game, Frank Gatsky in his 9th year. Flanker to the left. Otto Graham is the quarterback. Graham has his right end in tight. Otto Graham calling the signal, spins. He hands off this time and is passed up the middle for about 3 yards, and he's pushed back to the line of scrimmage. But he was hit by Les Bigelman on the line of scrimmage, or rather after he picked up 3 yards, out to the 34-yard line, and it's going to be second down and 7. Morris Bassett, who supposedly was going to be hobbled out here today by a thigh injury, has been running just like that true horse that he is from that fullback spot. Wide to the right this time goes Billy Reynolds. Otto Graham on second down and 7-yard line. Graham back to pass. He looks, he throws the left flat, complete the Bassett on the 35, the 40. Ooh, he is hit hard and dropped down here on the 43-yard line. Pass on the left flat. Complete the Bassett behind the line of scrimmage. He was hit by Bob Miller. And Les Bigelman helped out by number 20, the rookie from UCLA, Bill Stiff. Good for the first and 10. First down, 10 yards to go for the Browns. They have the ball on their 44-yard line. Cleveland leading 35-10 over the Detroit Lions. And once again, the Browns huddle. Their huddle is split by the 35-yard line. As they come out, Graham sends right halfback Dub Jones wide to the right. The left end, Darrell Brewster set out about 10 yards. Danny Lavelli in tight to his tackle. Back to pass. Graham, he's going to run now. He moves off to his left side and is hit on the line of scrimmage and pushed across the 45. Dropped down on the 46-yard line. Getting him that time was Joe Schmidt, Laverne Torgerson, and Gil Maines. They say that Otto made it across the 45 to the 47-yard line. A gain of 3 yards, second down 7. 2nd and 7. And the shuttle system employed by Paul Brown in operation as he sends in the guard. Bradley to replace Chuck Noll with a play for Otto. 2nd down, 7 yards to go. Out wide to the right goes Dub Jones. Jones came out of retirement this year to play with the Cleveland Browns. Otto Graham spins, hands off to Bassett up the middle. He comes up to the 50-yard line, hit on the 50-yard line by Gil Maines and Les Bigeman. Handoff that time from Otto Graham to his fullback Morris Bassett of Langston University, a rookie at 6'1", 230 pounds. And he reminds you of the former great fullback of the Cleveland Browns, Mr. Marion Motley. Ball's on the 50-yard line. They're down 4 yards to go. They have to reach the Detroit 46 for the first down. And now Les Bigeman is out of the lineup. Les Bigeman is out for the Detroit Lions. One of the few times we've seen him leave on a defensive play. Here's the quarterback in a straight T formation. Graham fakes. He's back to pass, being rushed now. He gets away from one man who was going to hit him back for about a 15-yard loss. Throws a long one down to Darrell Brewster. It's going to be a fight for the ball. And Darrell Brewster caught number 7. A beautiful catch. Darrell Brewster went up between Doak Walker and Jimmy David. Brother, that was a smooth pass. As smooth as variable pitch Dynaflow passes that record Buick power back to the rear wheels. Otto Graham is now 6 for 8 in the passing department. And the Browns have a first and goal to go on the 7-yard line of Detroit. And there was a great catch by Darrell Brewster, who played his college football at Purdue University. Flanker to the left. Otto Graham looking over the defense. Rolls out of the pocket to his right. He's hit once, gets away again. He's still running, circling out wide. He throws down to the end zone, and it's almost intercepted by Doak Walker. Incomplete. And there's a flag on this play as Otto Graham, rolling out of the pocket to his right, circling wide, threw down in the end zone. The only man near the football was Doak Walker, and he couldn't hold on to it. Doak did not get a clean shot at it, though, and now a substitution. Mike McCormick is checking into the line for an offside. Was called against the Detroit Lions, half the distance of the goal, down to the 4-yard line. Or it is a first down and 4. Cleveland now goes into a 9-man line using 3 backs, including the quarterback. Here is Renfro checking off the playing field. Otto Graham, first down on the 4-yard line. Otto Graham and the quarterback sneak goes down to the 3, the 2, the 1. And is he in or not? Otto Graham is trying for his third touchdown of the afternoon. The uprights were shaken that time as a lot of the pro football players banged into it trying to stop Otto Graham. And where did he go? He went down to about the 6-inch line where it's 2nd down. Second down and goal to go for the Cleveland Browns. They lead 35-10. We're in the first few minutes of play here in the second half. Out come the Browns. Right to the left this time goes Renfro. Otto Graham, the quarterback, calling the signals. Otto Graham, quarterback speaks, and he's into the end zone for the score. And Mr. Cleveland Brown, Otto Graham, has scored his 3rd touchdown today. The score is now 41-10 in favor of Cleveland. Lou Groza will try for the extra point. Here comes Otto off the playing field. Running alongside his left end, Darrell Brewster getting a swell ovation. Groza trying for the extra point. Defensive back, Tommy James will hold. Kneeling down on the 9-yard line. Ball is snapped, it's placed. The boot is up in the air. This one is good, and the score is now Cleveland 42, the Detroit Lions 10. And Chris, this is quite a football battle out here today.
It most certainly is, Earl, and the greatest display of quarterbacking that I have ever seen by Otto Graham. He has called the plays beautifully, and as you have pointed out, the Cleveland Browns used a shuttle system with the right guard, perhaps bringing in the plays as called by Coach Paul Brown on the bench. As Graham is starring out here today, it also might be interesting to point out that Mr. Paul Brown has starred as a head football coach for many, many years, high school, collegiate, and now pro. His 5th year in the National Football League with his Browns, and with the score 42-10 here in the 3rd period of play, with about 10 minutes to go in it, it looks as though the Browns are really trying to go out and roll up the score to make sure of getting this game.
Groza's kicking off. Doak Walker and Judge Gerard. Here's a long boot. This one is way over the end line. Another touchback as Lou Groza really put his foot in the net, baby, and it's 1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions on their 20-yard line. The score out here in Municipal Stadium, the Cleveland Browns 42, the Detroit Lions 10, and the Lions go into a huddle. Ball brought out to the 20-yard line. Lions as they break wide, center flanker wide to the left, Judge Gerard. Bobby Lane, the quarterback, on a quick count. Back to pass, looks downfield, throws out the left back, complete to Billy Bowman. Bowman trying to get away, and he is brought down on the line of scrimmage on the 20-yard line. Pass behind the line of scrimmage, complete on the left flat to the fullback Bowman. And as he zigged and zagged, he couldn't move away. He was dropped down on the 20. 2nd down, 10 yards to go. End of the tackle that time was Len Ford, the great defensive right end from the University of Michigan. Ball is 20 yards in from the far side of the playing field. Detroit Lions are moving towards the goal to the right of our mutual microphone. Flanker to the left, Judge Gerard once again. Here is Lane back to pass. He looks, he throws up the middle. This one is intercepted. Intercepted by Kenny Kahn on the 30, the 25, the 10, and he is caught finally outside the 10-yard line. He was caught at about the 12. Kenny Kahn intercepting that Bobby Lane pass on the 30-yard line and moving it down to the Detroit 13, where it's going to be a 1st down and 10 for the Browns. These Browns are striking with vengeance here at Municipal Stadium today. Flanker wide to the left is Renfro. Otto Graham has his right end set at about 15 yards. Graham calling the signals. He spins, hands off, and it's Billy Reynolds trying to get away. Brought down to the 12-yard line. Billy Reynolds circling hard that time to his left. Tried to cut in between his left end and his tackle. Was hit by number 56, Joe Schmidt. Helped out by Bob Miller. A gain of 1 yard. It's 2nd down. 9 yards to go. 12 yards to go to a touchdown. Cleveland leading 42-10. 8 minutes and 30 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. Flanker to the right. Otto Graham, the quarterback, looking over that Detroit defense. A 7-man line. Here's a pitch out going wide to the former Chicago Bear Morrison. He's shot to the 5. All the way for the score. First time that Fred Curly Morrison, a product of Ohio State, has carried the pigskin today. He made it count. A 12-yard gallop around his right end into the end zone. The score is now 48-10 in favor of Cleveland. Groza trying for another extra point. Tommy James holding. The ball is snapped. It's placed. The boot is up in the air. This one is good. And it's now the Cleveland Browns 49, the Detroit Lions 10. Getting all set for the next kickoff. And while we wait, here is Mr. Chris Schenkel.
I doubt if ever before, Cleveland Brown fans have given their club such a tremendous ovation as you are just hearing, as it is a 49-10 ball game. Partisan crowd it is from Detroit today by a special train, 1,500 members of the Crisis Club from Detroit. It's a club that meets every Friday afternoon, and it's a club that has as a motto that every day is a crisis. And I would say that today especially is one for Lion fans, as the Browns have really rolled. Let's see what the Lions can do with the Groza kickoff going from right to left. Earl?
The deep men are Joe Walker and Judge Girard. Here is the advance. The boot by Lou Groza. This one is end over end. It's not going too deep. Girard is coming out to the 5, the 6-yard line. He grabs the football to the 10, the 15, the 20. Cutting to his right now. He gets away from one man trying to cut back. He gets across the 25, spins, and is dropped down. Nice return by Judge Girard. He was almost breaking out into the clear that time, but he was caught and spun around and dropped down on the 26. First down and 10 for the Detroit Lions. Now, I believe the quarterback is Tom Dublinsky. Bobby Lane is out of there for the first time. Tom Dublinsky in his third year with Detroit. 6'2", 190 pounds from Utah. And Dublinsky sends Girard wide to the left. He splits his right end. Here's the quarterback. Dublinsky back to pass. He's looking downfield. He's going to run now. He tucks the football. Now he's going to throw, and he's going to get hit. He is pulled down by Carlton Massey back on the 9-yard line. Tom Dublinsky was running around in that backfield, and he couldn't find anybody clear. He was going to run, then he was going to pass. Took too much time to make up his mind, and Massey dropped him down back on the 9-yard line. Dublinsky finished fourth in the passing statistics in the National Football League. He completed 55.8% of his passes, and he averaged 7.78 yards every time he threw a forward pass. 49-10, the Lions are trailing the second down 25 in the 9-yard line. Flanker to the left. Here is Dublinsky back on the 3-yard line. He throws out here a sideline. It is caught by Jimmy, I think it's Dorr. No, it's Jeb Girard. He was dropped down here on the 28-yard line. Helped out of bounds by number 24, Warren Lahr. Pass complete from Tom Dublinsky to Jug Girard. And Jug was dropped down on the 27-yard line. And now the Lions huddle inside the 20. Cleveland has an overpowering lead right now. The score is 49-10. Wide to the left goes number 83, Jimmy Dorn. Jug Girard is set on the right side this time. Three ends in the lineup for Coach Buddy Parker. Back to pass to Dublinsky. He throws down the middle. This one is incomplete. Intended for Dorn Dibble, who leaped high on the 44-yard line. Dibble was knocked down that time by Tommy James, veteran defensive back in his 7th year from Ohio State. Incomplete. It's 4th down 8. 4th down 8. Lions have the ball on the Detroit 27-yard line. A single safety right now. Kenny Kahn, former LSU star, Louisiana State University, 5'10", 180-pounder, is standing back on the 32. In punt formation goes Jug Girard. Girard is standing on the 12, waiting for the pass from center. There's the pass, and Girard gets his boot away. This is a low kick, twisting down, hitting down to the 35, rolls down to the 30, the 25, picked up by Kahn, and he is heading his tracks on the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for Cleveland. Hit that time by Jimmy Doran. These Cleveland Browns fans are having a picnic out here at Municipal Stadium today. The score is 49-10 in favor of Cleveland, and they want another touchdown. Still plenty of time to go in this football game. We have 7 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Out they come. Dub Jones is set wide to the left. The quarterback is Otto Graham. Graham calling signals on the 20. Hands off this time, and I think it's Morrison who moves across the 20 to about the 22. Let's check the numbers he gets up. Curly Morrison moving up here to the 22-yard line for a gain of 2. Second down 8. Otto Graham having himself a real afternoon of football. Cleveland scored 14 in the first quarter, 21 in the second quarter, 14 in the third quarter. Detroit led at one time 3-0. Scored 3 in the first period and 7 points in the second quarter. Flanker to the left, Otto Graham. There's a flag on the play as he hands off to Morrison again, and he comes out here to the 25. Curly Morrison moving up to the 25-yard line. Looks like there might be a backfield motion called against the Cleveland Browns. It was second down and 8. And now one of the co-captains, Laverne Torgerson of Detroit, is talking things over with Tom Timlin. And they accept the 5-yard penalty. It marches the football back to the 17-yard line where it is second down and 12. Out come the Cleveland Browns. Flanker to the right, Dub Jones. Second down, 13 yards to go on their own 17-yard line. A pitch out this time to Morrison around the right side of the line. He circles his end, moves across the 15, the 20, and is hit at about the 22-yard line by Jimmy David. Jimmy David helped out by Jerry Perry on the 22-yard line. Ball is 20 yards in from the far side of the playing field. The Cleveland Browns are moving towards the goal to our left. Third down 8. Browns out of the huddle. Frank Getzky over the ball at center. Flanker set wide to the right by Otto Graham. A 7-man line for the Detroit Lions. Here is Graham back to pass, looking downfield. It's batted in the air. This one is caught, and it's dropped. Caught and dropped on the 27-yard line by a Cleveland Brown. And they call it a completed forward pass. It was Ray Renfro who hung onto the football. As he was hit, he dropped the ball. And it is a completed forward pass. But it's fourth down 5 now, and back into a double safety. Jug Girard and Doak Walker. Into punt formation goes Horace Gillum. Gillum is standing back on the 10-yard line. There's the pass from center. Gillum has plenty of time. Here's his boot. A wobbly kick, not too deep, hitting on the 45 of Detroit, rolling down to the 40. Rolls down to the 35, down to the 30-yard line. Finally, it rolls down to the 28. There was a tremendous roll in favor of the Cleveland Browns. And there is a flag on this play. A flag on the play as Gillum got the roll that time. It bounced on a hit on the Detroit 45 and rolled down to the Detroit 28-yard line. Big discussion going on between the 40 and the 45 as there were flags all over the playing field. Cleveland is leading 49-10 over the Detroit Lions, defending champions of the National Football League. Personal foul is called against the Detroit Lions. It's refused by the Cleveland Browns. So it is Detroit's football, first and 10, on the Lions' 28-yard line. This pass defense of Cleveland has been very sharp today. Tom Dublinsky is the Detroit quarterback. Flank to the left this time is Dorn. Back to pass. The handoff this time on a reverse goes to Carpenter around the left side of the line. He's across the line of scrimmage, but he is hit down on the 29-yard line. Lou Carpenter. On the reverse, circling his left end, was hit down to the 29. By Walt Michaels, helped out by Don Colo. 4 minutes and 25 seconds remain in the third quarter. Detroit huddling on the 20. Second down 9, a gain of 1 yard by Carpenter on that reverse. Flanker to the left, Dorn. Gerard set wide to the right. Here's the quarterback, Dublinsky, faking a pass. He throws out the right side, complete to Carpenter. He gets away from one man now across the 30 to 35, is still going, and is hit on the 40-yard line by Kenny Kahn. Kahn's really smashed into Lou Carpenter. And now we have a lot of excitement back here on the 23-yard line as a few of the players are mixing it up. Little battle going on back on the 23, and a timeout is called. That activity was taking place while practically everybody was watching the ball carrier, Carpenter, come up here to the 39-yard line. And while we figure out what's going on, here is Chris.
Right, Earl. As the Browns have covered the field here at Municipal Stadium with their running game and their forward passes, we'd like to point out that Buick covers the field. Yes, fans, Buick covers the price field with new 1955 Buick Beauties in all price ranges. From the Buick Special with big car features at a cost just above the low price 3, to the custom-built Roadmaster in the fine car field, there's a Buick for every purse and purpose in every body style. Pick your Buick and take a demonstration ride soon to discover the thrill of the year.
Second down and 9. There were 2 penalties on the play. One offset the other, and it was second 9 for the Detroit Lions. The quarterback, Tom Dublinsky, handing off, and circling wide that time was Carpenter. He moved across the 35-yard line to the 36, where it is short of the first down, so it is a third down and about 3. Third and 3 for the Lions of Detroit, Michigan. Ball on the 36-yard line, 20 yards in from the far side of the playing field, and the Lions break the huddle. Wide to the left goes Jim Doran. Gerard set to the right. Dublinsky at quarterback, spins, hands off to Carpenter once again. A flag on the play as Carpenter picks up the first and 10 as he goes across the 40. Carpenter was hit, brought down to the 41-yard line of Detroit. A penalty, though, was called on the play. Doug Atkins is in replacing Carlton Massey at left end for the Cleveland Browns, and it's very easy to spot a new player in there for the first time today for Cleveland because his uniform is spotlessly clean with the white color out there, and Atkins is a big boy who stands 6'8". He weighs 250 pounds. He's from the University of Tennessee, and in his second year with Cleveland. Penalty was against the Cleveland Browns, refused as Detroit picked up the first down on the 41-yard line. First and 10. Into the lineup for Detroit comes number 73, Thurman McGraw. And going out is right guard Dick Stanfell, who sat out last week's game against the Cleveland Browns because of an injury. Now we have a time on the playing field called by the Detroit Lions with the clock showing 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and the score, the Cleveland Browns 49, the Detroit Lions 10. Lions break their huddle. Time back in. It's a first down and 10 for Detroit on its 41-yard line. Flanker to the left. The right end set out 10 yards. Tom Dublinsky at quarterback fakes. He's back to pass. He's going to get hit. He gets away from one man. He's going to run. He's across the 45 and is dropped down to the 46-yard line. A lot of fierce tackling taking place out here today. There was a fumble on this last play. I believe, no, there was a timeout called by the Detroit Lions as they have an injured player down here on the 45-yard line. Timeout call. Chris Schenkel.
Thanks, Earl. Time is called as the fierceness of this ball game is moving right along at a tremendously high pitch. And the boldness of the great quarterback, Otto Graham, has accounted for 6 of the Cleveland Browns' touchdowns. Buick's new bold look for 1955 is winning cheers from coast to coast. From its daring new widescreen grille to its gleaming new taillight assembly, the 55 Buick is a breathtaking beauty. And what a performer. There's nothing like it on the road today. Look it over and drive a new Buick for the thrill of the year. Here at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio, as in the third quarter, the Cleveland Browns lead Detroit 49-10. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Mutual, the radio network for all America.
This is WGN, the Chicago Tribune station, Chicago 11, serving the Middle West.
As both clubs today are fighting to win the title, which climaxes a great National Football League season, so too are they fighting to win the winner's share of the championship game, which will probably average some above $2,000. Play is resumed now here in the third quarter, and here is Earl Gillespie.
It was Tom Dublinski who was hurt. It's Bobby Lane back in there now. On 2nd down and 5, he throws down here. This one is almost intercepted, intended for Judge Gerard. Whoops! One of the officials took a seat here in the mud as he put the brakes on across the sideline stripe. Went right down to the seat of his pants down here on the 40-yard line of Cleveland. Bobby Lane trying to hit Judge Gerard with a sideline pass, incomplete over his head. So it is now 3rd down 5 for the Detroit Lions on their own 45-yard line. Tom Dublinski was helped off the playing field. Bobby Lane is back in at quarterback. Lions out for the flanker to the left. Here is Bobby Lane in a quick count. Back to pass, goes out the right back, complete to the right halfback. Carpenter away from one man on the 50-yard line. He's caught from behind and pulled down on the Cleveland 45-yard line where it's a 1st and 10. But there is a flag on this last play, I believe. Let's check. A big one is coming up against the Cleveland Browns, 15 yards. Moves it down to the 30-yard line. A personal foul. Personal foul is called against the Cleveland Browns. It's 1st and 10 on the 30-yard line now for the Lions on the Cleveland 30. Flanker to the left. Quick count. Lane back to pass. Bobby's looking. He's in the pocket. He throws down to the end zone, and it's incomplete. I think that ball was partially deflected by number 22, Kenny Kahn. Intended for the left end, Dorn Dibble, incomplete at 2nd 10. The score, Cleveland 49, Detroit 10. 2 minutes and 30 seconds remain in the third quarter here at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. Ball is 20 yards in from the near side of the playing field on the 30-yard line. Lions huddle back on the 40-yard stripe. As they break the huddle, Dorn moves wide to the left. 3 ends in there now. Dibble's in there. Here's a quick count again. Bobby Lane back to pass. Throws incomplete to Gerard. Jug was cutting down to his left. Down and in, and he slipped and fell as he cut too sharply on the 20-yard line. Another incompleted forward pass. 3rd down, 10 yards to go. Cleveland's ball, or rather Detroit's ball on the Cleveland 30. Cleveland with that big 39-point lead. Dorn setting wide to the left. Dibble inside of him. Gerard wide to the right. 3rd down, 10. Here comes that possession down, and back to pass is Bobby Lane looking downfield. Throws out here, and it's caught by Dibble. He's dropped down. Or was that the Joker? Dorn Dibble was the boy who caught the ball, and he was upended and dropped down on the Cleveland 17, 18-yard line. 1st and 10. Detroit on the march right now. With 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Ball 20 yards in from the far side of the playing field. First and 10. On the 18-yard line, Lane back to pass, throws out the right flat to Carpenter. He tries to cut, and he slips and falls. Back on the 19-yard line. Hit by Tommy Catlin. Pass was complete, but Carpenter that time, trying to cut sharply to his left, slipped and fell. It is slippery going on the playing field as we check the playing condition of the field prior to coming up into our mutual radio booth. Off the field comes number 72, Johnny Kessler, who's played himself a whale of a ball game in that Cleveland line. Second down, 11 yards to go. There was a loss of a yard on the play. The ball is back on the 19-yard line. Lane dropping back the pass, being rushed, goes a short screen that is complete to Carpenter, looking for his interference now. He cuts, brought down once. He gets up the gully. He's down inside the 15-yard line, and he's down to the 12. Screen pass complete to Lou Carpenter. Tackled by Kenny Carnes. There's plenty of action down there in that playing field. And on the road, too, when you switch the pitch of Buick's new variable pitch Dynaflow. Third down. 4 yards to go for the Lions of Detroit. Flankers to the left and to the right. Bobby Lane pitches out quickly to Bowman around the left side of the line. He's hit on the line of scrimmage, but he gets down inside the 10-yard line down to about the 9. It was a 3rd and 4, and that time Bowman on a quick pitch out from Bobby Lane, circling his left end, cut inside the end, and moved down. And they put the ball on the 10-yard line, where it is a 4th down and 2. They have to reach the 8-yard line for the 1st and goal. So here's a big play coming up for the Lions. Taking a lot of time in the huddle. Not much time left in this third quarter. 4th down, 2 yards to go on the 10-yard line. A quick pass is complete to Gerard. He's on the 5, and he is hit on the 5. Hit by Kenny Carnes. There is the gun. Marking the end of the third quarter. Cleveland has that 49-10 lead over the defending champions of the National Football League, the Detroit Lions. So step in, Chris Schenkel.
And as the score stands at 49-10, as we await the start of the 4th period, the 1955 Buick scores high on beauty, no doubt about that. But, brother, first and foremost, the 55 Buick is built to perform. Beneath Buick's bold styling is the greatest power team in the field today. Buick's tremendously advanced Big V8 that steps up to 236 horsepower. And teamed up with that record-high power is the newest transmission development in years, Buick's airplane-inspired variable-pitch Dynaflow drive. The power propellers inside Dynaflow switch the pitch like the blades of a modern airplane propeller with just as exciting results. You get an instant surge of power for thrilling takeoff or safe passing just by pushing the accelerator past full throttle. And with Dynaflow's blades in cruising pitch, you get remarkable fuel economy. What other car offers such performance, such economy, and such beauty? Tomorrow, sure, see and drive the 55 Buick. Your Buick dealer has one of these superbly styled, sensational performers waiting for you. Take that wheel and see for yourself why the 55 Buick is the thrill of the year. Otto Graham and the Cleveland Browns leading Bobby Lane and the Detroit Lions by a score of 49-10. The Lions, in attempting to get back into the ball game after trailing at halftime, 35-10, have thrown a great number of passes, which we'll tell you more about later. Right now, the Lions are threatening, and here's Earl.
First down on the 6-yard line. Bobby Lane throws out the left flat. This one is intercepted by the Cleveland Browns. And it's caught by Len Ford. He might go all the way. He's to the 30, the 35, the 40, across the midfield, and he is finally caught from behind. Ronnie Ford took that ball out of midair. A pass in the left flat, which is a very dangerous pass as it is. Ford grabbed it. Boy, and he really ambled. 250 pounds rolling down the field. He was caught from behind and pulled down on the 45-yard line. The Detroit 45, 1st and 10 for Cleveland. during the last quarter of play. That is the fourth interception by the very alert defensive unit for the Cleveland Browns. Out of the huddle comes Cleveland. Otto Graham is still the quarterback. Billy Reynolds is set wide to the left. And the Detroit 45, the handoff this time goes a flag on the play as the fullback, Curly Morrison, is caught by Gerald Perry and pulled way back to the midfield stripe. But a flag on the play. It was 1st and 10 on the 45-yard line of Detroit in Cleveland's possession. Chet Hanulak is checking into the Cleveland backfield. Chet Hanulak. 5-yard penalty against the Cleveland Browns. Backfield motion is refused by the Detroit Lions, so it is now a 2nd down and 10 as the ball remains on the 45-yard line. Flanker to the right. Billy Reynolds. Counting signals, Otto Graham. 2nd down 10 on the Detroit 45-yard line. Graham hands off to Morrison. Morrison goes down to about the 42. And there might be a penalty on this last play as there are some very heated feelings between these two ball clubs who have had the opportunity to meet each other 3 times in the postseason classic of pro football. And it's going to be a 15-yard penalty against Detroit for piling on. Personal foul. Personal foul, and the football is put down on the 26-yard line of Detroit. 14 minutes and 30 seconds remain in the 1954 championship game. And Cleveland has that 49-10 lead over the Detroit Lions. 1st down 10 for the Browns. As they come out, it is Frank Getzke over the ball at center. Flanker wide to the right now is Billy Reynolds. Otto Graham looks at the left end, which is set out about 10 yards. Here is the handoff on a delay on the old trap play to the fullback Morrison. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage back here on the 32-yard line, the 31-yard line. Fullback delay, and that time it was Morrison who was hit on the 30. In goes Chuck Noll, the right guard. Out comes Harold Bradley. Loss of 3 yards, 2nd down and 13. Cleveland on that Detroit 30-yard stripe. Browns break the huddle. As they do, they send Reynolds wide to the right. Otto Graham at quarterback. Drops back the pass. He fakes a handoff. He's back the pass. He throws out here. This one is complete. And drops down in his tracks is Darrell Brewster. Or was that Danny Lavelli, number 86. Lavelli caught that football and was dropped down immediately by Karalevich and Jim David on the 24-yard line. Thus it is 3rd down 8. Cleveland inside that 30. On the 24-yard line, flanker to the right as they break the huddle, Billy Reynolds. Otto Graham on 3rd down 8, calling signals, sends a man in motion now. Chet Hanulak, wide to his left, the pitch out. Morrison fumbles, a loose football is recovered by Detroit. Pitch out going from the quarterback Otto Graham to his fullback, Curly Morrison. He fumbled the ball, is recovered by Detroit. And on the bottom of that pile with the football is Gerald Perry. So the Lions take over. Ball on the 25-yard line, 1st down and 10. In goes Leon Hart, Bobby Lane, Dorn Dibble. No, Quay Sparks is in there now. Quay Sparks. Flanker to the left is Box. The handoff this time goes to Carpenter, and he gets up to the 26. Very jarring tackle that time by Walt Michaels and number 79, Bob Gaines. Gain of 2 yards. The ball is on the 27-yard line, where it is now a second down 8. Place back, set wide to the left. Bobby Lane back to pass, throws out here. This one is incomplete. Off the arms of Dorn Dibble, and that could have been intercepted, but it fell short of the on-charging Tommy James on the 40-yard line, so it's an incompleted forward pass, and it's third down 8. The score here at Municipal Stadium, Cleveland 49, the Detroit Lions 10. 12 minutes and 10 seconds remain in the football game. And the Lions come out of their huddle, faced with a third down situation, 3rd and 8. Back on their own 27-yard line. Flanker to the left, here's Bobby Lane, back to pass. Bobby's looking downfield, throws a looper out here, a sideliner that's incomplete. Intended for Lou Carpenter, and it's 4th down. Down 8 yards to go for the Detroit Lions, and the kicking unit comes in for Coach Buddy Parker. Buddy's been pacing up and down, smoking a lot of cigarettes on the far side of the playing field, nervously pacing in front of that bench. This is the highest score run up against Detroit this year. The highest was 37 points early in the season when San Francisco beat the Lions 37-31. Back in punt formation, Jug Girard. A single safety, Kenny Kahns for Cleveland is inside his 35-yard line. Here's the boot by the Jugger. High, beautiful spiral, driving Kahns way back. He calls for a fair catch in the 22-yard line. Man, it takes an educated toe to kick like that. But wait till you feel what your toe can do, pressing the accelerator of a 55 Buick. That power surge is sensational. Beautiful, booming spiral off the right foot of Jug Girard. First down and 10. 1st and 10 for the Cleveland Browns on their 23-yard line. Cleveland leading 49-10. Otto Graham sends Dub Jones wide to the right. Left end split out about 10 yards. Darrell Brewster. Otto Graham this time hands off, and it is the fullback, Morrison, I believe, coming up to the 25 to 26-yard line. Let's wait to the end file. Some of the numbers on the Cleveland Browns are becoming very hard to read. That was Curly Morrison up to the 26-yard line for a gain of 3 yards. 2nd down 7. Cleveland's ball on its own 26. Dub Jones moves out to the right as a flanker. Darrell Brewster. Wide to the left, Danny Lavelli is the right end in tight to the tackle. The handoff this time goes to Hanulak around the right side of the line. He gets the block to the 28 to 29-yard line. Tackle made by Laverne Torgerson and number 72, Gilmains, on the Cleveland 29-yard line. 3rd down and 4. Once again, it is Chuck Noll going in, replacing Harold Bradley at guard. Bringing in a play for the quarterback, Otto Graham. This time, Graham sends Hanulak wide to the left. 3rd down, 4 yards to go. Otto Graham calling signals. Hands off to Dub Jones and a sweep around the left side of the line. He is caught behind the line of scrimmage, back on the 26-yard line. Jones trying to turn his left end, was hit down hard on the 26-yard line. Torgerson and number 74, Bob Miller, making the tackle. 4th down, and Gillum. Horace Gillum checks in the lineup now for Coach Paul Brown. Cleveland has two excellent punters in Horace Gillum and the former Bear, Fred Curly Morrison, who came to the Browns in a trade for fullback Chip Chugati this past season. Here's the boot by Gillum. He gets it away just in time downfield and signaling for a fair catch. Girard grabs the ball on the 37-yard line. 1st down and 10. A fair catch signaled for by Jug Girard. Detroit sending in the offensive unit. Leon Hart is in there. Quarterback is Bobby Lane. The number 2 quarterback of Detroit, Tom Dublinsky, was injured late in the 3rd quarter. Flanker to the left, Clay's box. Back to pass, Bobby Lane on first down. He throws a sideliner. This one is incomplete. Nobody there that time, and Lane is having a very poor afternoon for such a great quarterback. He is wide of his mark. He has been quite frequently out here today. Although his percentage is over 500, he has attempted 30 and completed 16. But here in the second half, he has missed his mark quite frequently. The score is Cleveland 49, Detroit 10. 9 minutes and 45 seconds remain on the clock to our right. Wide to the left, Clay's box. Second down 10. Detroit's ball. On its own 35. Here is Lane, back to pass, goes up the middle to Leon Hart, who's got the ball on the 50, down to the 45, and they finally pull Leon Hart down on the 43-yard line, and that is not an easy job, as Leon Hart stands 6'5", and he weighs 265 pounds. Played his college football at the University of Notre Dame. He's in his 5th year with Detroit. First and 10 as the Lions move down into the Cleveland territory, down to the 44-yard line. Flanker to the left, Clay's box. Bobby Lane in a quick count. Back to pass. The former Texas star looks. He throws a long looper down the Clay's box, and it is incomplete. Box was covered that time by Tommy James. Incomplete. Second down and 10. Second and 10 for the Lions. On the Cleveland 44-yard line. Cleveland's biggest quarter out here was the second when the Browns scored 21 points. Otto Graham has personally scored 3 touchdowns himself and accounted for the other touchdowns. 7 touchdowns in all scored by Cleveland today so far. Flanker to the left. Here's Lane on second down and 10. He throws. It is incomplete. Fell in front of the intended receiver. Dorn Dibble, short of its mark, so it is now third down 10. Ball on the 44-yard line. Lions back into the huddle, huddling on their own 48. They're down at 10 yards to go. Here comes Detroit out. Andy Makita, the center, is over the ball. Flanker to the left. Place box. Bobby Lane. Back to pass. Looks, he throws quickly. This one is incomplete to Leon Hart. Off his hands. Down here inside the 35-yard line. Leon Hart was covered by Kenny Kahn, along with number 34, Walt Michaels. So now it is fourth down and 10. Fourth and 10 for the Lions on the Cleveland 44. Gerard comes into the backfield. Out goes Doak Walker. Out goes Thurman McGraw. And Gerard is dropping back in the punt formation. There is no safety. Nobody is back deep for the Cleveland Browns. Gerard takes the pass from center. He's going to boot. He angles towards the sideline. Here's a low kick. And it hits inside the 20, rolls down, and finally goes out of bounds. Waiting for him to line it up and went out of bounds on the 11-yard line. A nice boot by Doug Gerard, angling for that coffin corner. First down 10 for Cleveland. Browns ball on the 11-yard line. This, of course, is an entirely different game than we had the pleasure of doing for Mutual last December, when it was very tight, nip and tuck all the way, with Detroit winning out 17-16 in the last 2.5 minutes of play. Straight T formation in the backfield. Otto Graham is still the quarterback. Hands off to Billy Reynolds off his left guard, up for about 2 yards. Otto Graham to Billy Reynolds over his left guard, stopped by Bob Miller, helped out by Laverne Torgerson. Ball out from the 11-yard line to the 13-yard line, where it is now second down and 8. Time left in the fourth quarter. 8 minutes and 20 seconds. With a score 49-10 in favor of Cleveland. Browns out. Balance line, straight T formation, second down and 8 yards to go. Graham dropping back to the 5-yard line, throws a long forward pass downfield, intended for Lavelli, and this one is incomplete. Broken up by Karl Karalevich on the 50-yard line. Long forward pass. Pass was thrown 45 yards in the air from Otto Graham to his right end, Danny Lavelli. Third down, 8 yards to go for the Browns of Cleveland, Ohio. All these Ohio football fans have another big one coming up on New Year's Day when the Buckeyes of Ohio State play Southern California in the Rose Bowl game out in Pasadena, California. Third down 8. Straight T formation. Otto Graham hands off on the trap play and out across the 15-yard line to about the 18-yard line goes Curly Morrison. Nice fake that time by Graham as he dropped back the pass and handed to his fullback, Morrison, who came out to the 19-yard line, where it's short of the first down. It's fourth down, approximately 3 yards to go. And so Horace Gillum checks into the lineup for Cleveland. Double safety. Judge Gerard, Doak Walker back for the Detroit Lions, standing inside their 45. Here is Gillum inside the 5-yard line on the 3. Pass from center. Gillum gets plenty of time. He boots. It's a low spiral down to Gerard, who grabs the ball on the 37-yard line, cutting to his right now, trying to get away, and he's going to get caught here by Don Paul. Hit way back on the 34-yard line. Don Paul came across there like a streak of lightning. Gerard was angling, running parallel to the 37-yard line as he cut back and circled. He was hit back on the 35, where it is now 1st and 10 for the Lions. And that was a fine tackle by Don Paul, who has shown tremendous speed in getting downfield. Blue skies here in Cleveland. A beautiful day for football. Flanker to the left. Lane, and a handoff this time to Walker around the left side of the line. He comes up here and hits very hard. Doak was really blasted on the 40-yard line by Len Ford and Walt Michaels. Two jarring tackles that time by Ford and Michaels on Doak Walker. Now, Doak is not a big guy as pro football players go. He's very elusive. 5'10", 172 pounds. Played at Southern Methodist. Gain of 5 yards, 2nd and 5 on the 40. Here's the pass up the middle. This one is deflected, intercepted by Kenny Kahn on the 50. Down to the 45. He goes down to the 40, the 39. Caught by Doak Walker. Kenny Kahn. How about that one? Throws a plenty this afternoon. And for the thrill of the year, sample the hot performance of the 1955 Buick. Another pass interception for the Cleveland Browns. Kahn's second of the day. They now have 5 in all. And it's Cleveland's ball, 1st and 10, on the 40-yard line of Detroit. Otto Graham at quarterback. Carpenter is one of the backs. Billy Reynolds. And Hanulak, the handoff goes to Hanulak on a quick opener up the middle. He goes down to the secondary, across the 20, down to the 15-yard line, down inside the 15. They might have caught him on that 15, and there was a great run by the rookie from the University of Maryland, who got his tutoring from Jim Tatum down there at Maryland, Chet Hanulak. 180 pounds, and that was a blinding speed that time as he burst up the middle down to the 16. First down and 10 for the Cleveland Browns. Hanulak this time is set wide to the left. Otto Graham looking over the Detroit defense. The fans are yelling, go, go, go for these Cleveland Browns. Here's the head up to Reynolds. Reynolds pounding down to the 10, down to the 9. He's stopped by Jerry Perry. A reminder, fans, remember that big postseason game scheduled for January 16th at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, California. The All-Pro Bowl game, and that is always a thriller. The tops in pro football on display at the Coliseum on January 16th. Second down and 4. 9 yards to go to a touchdown. The Cleveland Browns knocking on the door once again. Flanker to the right. Otto Graham, the fearless passer, is calling signals. Otto Graham, the former Northwestern great, looks over that defense. This time he hands off to Hanulak. He's to the 5, and he's into the end zone. And what a run! Third quarter and the fourth quarter have turned this game into a complete rout. Now we'll go ahead by the amazing score of 55-10. Time for the extra point. Lou grows in the ball snap. There's place. The boot is up there. This one is good. The kick is good. The score is now Cleveland 56, Detroit 10, and Chris. This is one of the most amazing football games I think I have ever seen.
And with the Cleveland Browns undoubtedly winning at Earl, it'll be one of the greatest team victories in this professional championship game. As offensively, the Browns have scored with Otto Graham throwing 3 touchdown passes, scoring 3 himself, Curly Morrison bulling over for another, and now the rookie from Maryland, Chet Hanulak. What a display, and of course, as the Detroit Lions are held to their lowest point total thus far during the entire 1954 season with only 10 points, what more can you say for a defensive unit like Coach Paul Brown has fielded here in Cleveland, Ohio today?
And now it'll be Lou Groves, the kicking off for the Cleveland Browns, the double safety, Doak Walker, Doug Girard, the 2 deep men for Detroit. Here's the boot. It's a low wobbly kick. Bouncing down, and it's going to be taken by Walker on the 7. Walker's at the 10, the 15, the 20. Cutting to his right along the sideline and out of bounds. On the far side of the playing field, Doak Walker. Chased out of bounds. On the 27-yard line, where it's 1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions. And it has been a long, long time since Detroit has had all these points run up against them in a single ball game. 56-10 is the score. Lane at quarterback has a flanker wide to the left. Bobby Lane hands off. And caught behind the line of scrimmage is Luke Carpenter. He might have made it back to the 27. Nope, he was hit on the 26 at 2nd down 11. These Cleveland Browns have shown a fierce, determined brand of football here at Municipal Stadium today. They want this one for their very fine head coach Paul Brown, and for themselves, of course. 2nd down 11 on the 26-yard line. Detroit's ball in its own territory. Lane back to pass, throws to Leon Hart, incomplete. The Hart on the 37-yard line. 3 men were on Leon that time. Walt Michaels, one of them. Tommy James. Third down, 10 yards to go. 3rd down and 10 yards to go for the Detroit Lions. They have been great champions the past 2 years in the National Football League. Flanker to the left once again for Detroit. Here's Bobby Lane, back to pass, being rushed. He throws a sideliner. This one is caught, and the boy who caught the ball is pulled down on the 41-yard line. Pass was complete to Dorn Dibble. Now we have a chance. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Mutual, the radio network for all America.
This is WGN, the Chicago Tribune station. Chicago 11 serving the Middle West.
First down and 10 on the 42-yard line for Detroit. Bobby Lane in a bootleg. He's back to pass. He throws. It's intercepted this time by Lenny Ford off the hands of a Detroit Lion. And Ford is dropped down on the Cleveland 48. Glenn Ford gets his 2nd pass interception. Hear those cheers? Well, you'll cheer too when you sample the airplane-type takeoff and passing power of a 1955 Buick. 3 minutes and 5 seconds remain in this football game. The score, the Cleveland Browns 56, the Detroit Lions 10. And it's Cleveland's ball, 1st and 10 on the 48-yard line. Wide to the right goes Billy Reynolds. Otto Graham going all the way today on offense, and what a game he has played. The handoff and a flag on the play as the ball carrier goes down to the 49 of Detroit. Fred Morrison moving down to the 49-yard line, but there's a flag on this last play, and I think it's backfield motion against the Cleveland Browns. Offside call against Cleveland is refused by the Detroit Lions, so it is now 2nd down, and now here comes Otto Graham off. Listen to this tremendous ovation. For one of the great quarterbacks in the history of pro football. Fearless Otto Graham, who has announced that this is his last professional football game. Today, Otto Graham threw 3 touchdown passes, scored 3 touchdown passes, or scored 3 touchdowns, rather. An amazing exhibition for a guy who had a lot of trouble against these Detroit Lions in past exhibitions. Here today and from coast to coast, Otto Graham, possibly in his last football game. There's always a chance, of course, that maybe Coach Paul Brown can talk him back into action. He's been in for a long time. Otto Graham's in his 9th season. He has been an asset, a wonderful asset to pro football, as he has played 100% all the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, certainly an inspiring sight here at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. Inspired by the variable pitch propellers of modern airliners, Buick's new variable pitch Dynaflow switches the pitch for thrilling performance. Push down the pedal for instant, infinitely smooth takeoff, then switch to cruising pitch for wonderful fuel economy. Only Buick has the spectacular new transmission. Try it. Buick's variable pitch Dynaflow for the thrill of the year. The score, Cleveland 56, the Detroit Lions 10, as now George Ratterman of Notre Dame in his 7th year as a pro has taken over as the field general for the Browns. At the microphone here in Cleveland, Earl Gillespie.
Hands off this time to the right halfback, Reynolds, who goes down inside the 50, down to about the 46-yard line. It was a 2nd down, 8 yards to go. So it's 3rd down coming up. George Ratterman in the quarterback now for the Cleveland Browns. And that time, Billy Reynolds punched his way down to the 45-yard line, where it is 3rd down and about 3. 3rd down 3 for the Cleveland Browns on the Detroit 45. As they come out of the huddle, the 2-minute warning stops them, and they go back into a huddle. 2-minute warning. You know, it's always a very touching scene when you have the opportunity to watch a great athlete bow out of his sport. This year we've had the occasion twice, as we were on hand with the Green Bay Packers out in Los Angeles when Elroy Hurst called it quits in the last game of the Rams' 54 season. Ratterman this time fakes, hands off, a fumble recovered by the Detroit Lions. A fumble was recovered by the Detroit Lions on the handoff. And a timeout is called, stopping the clock, called by the Detroit Lions with 1 minute and 55 seconds remaining. George Ratterman on the handoff that time to Fred Morrison. There was a fumble on the play. The ball popped out of the big pile-up, bounced backward, and it was picked up by Detroit. So once again, here's Chris.
And Earl, looking at the scoreboard, indicates that there has been a tremendous amount of power displayed on the football field by the Cleveland Browns as they lead 56-10.
Bobby Lane, the quarterback now on the 1st down. He hands off to Carpenter. Carpenter comes across the 50 down to about the 46-yard line for a gain of 3 yards. Second down and 7 yards to go. Second down and 7 yards to go for the Detroit Lions. The score is Cleveland 56, Detroit 10. 1 minute and 30 seconds remain. Flanker to the left. Quarterback Bobby Lane back to pass. Steps into a pocket. Now he's in trouble. Gets away from one man. He's going to throw. He's going to run. He's going to run. And he's down into the 45. The 44, and he's dropped down. Some of the fans breaking over the retaining wall around the back seats and running out along the Cleveland Browns sideline. Third down coming up for the Lions on the Cleveland 45 with 5 yards to go to a first down. Now the crowd is coming out and circling the field here at Municipal Stadium. Some of the fans are scooting across the end zone to our left. Flanker wide to the left is Jim Doran. Bobby Lane in a quick count, back to pass on third down. He throws a sideliner out here that is almost intercepted. Intended for Chubb Girard down on the 28-yard line. The pass was incomplete. So it is fourth down now. Fourth down and 6 yards to go for Detroit on that Cleveland 45-yard line. And 1 minute and 5 seconds remain in this game out here at Cleveland this afternoon. Substitutions. Hornsmeyer is coming in. Girard is in there. Dorn Dibble is coming in. Girard is dropping back into punt formation. Standing on the 45-yard line. He's going to kick. He gets the boot away, angling for the corner. It comes down here inside the 15-yard line. The crowd spreading out to get away from the football, and one of the fans has a football. As he took that punt, but I'm sure after looking at the size of these pro football players, he did not want to return it. Only 35 seconds remain now. Girard punted out of bounds. It's Cleveland's ball. First and 10. Quarterback is number 16, George Redeman. Waiting for a football to be thrown out of the playing field. Cleveland is huddling back in the end zone. That punt of Girard went out of bounds inside the 10-yard line on the 7. A beautiful punt by Jug Girard. First down 10 now for Cleveland on its own 7-yard line. And they can run the clock in one play. 35 seconds to go. So let's see what the quarterback, George Redeman, is going to use. Out they come. Frank Gatsky, the center, is over the ball. 9-year man in pro football. Flanker to the left. Here is Redeman calling signals. Hands off to Billy Reynolds. He tries his right guard. And he comes out for about a yard's gain as he's hit down by Gil Maines and Les Bigeman, who also has announced the fact that this is his last pro game. Bigeman has played 7 years. He's from the University of Illinois. Penalty was refused on this last play by the Detroit Lions. It is now a second down 9. A gain of 1 yard by Billy Reynolds, the white halfback. George Redeman, the quarterback, brings his team out of the huddle. Second down, 9 yards to go. 30 seconds remain. Wide to the left goes Darrell Brewster. Here is the quarterback. George Redeman on a quarterback sneak. Comes up here to about the 9-yard line, where he is put down. There is the gun, marking the end of the 1954 National Football League Championship game. An amazing score as the Cleveland Browns overpowered the Detroit Lions, the favored Lions, 56-10.
The thrill of the year is Jerry. If it's hard that excites you, turns and delights you, thrills you through and through. If it's great getaway here, you lost the thrill of the year. And the thrill of the year is here.
Folks, you simply have to see and drive the beautiful 1955 Buick. Thrill to its fresh, bold look. Feel the performance that goes with record V8 power increases and Buick's new variable pitch dynaflow. The airplane-type takeoff, the breathtaking safety surge of extra passing power. There's nothing like it on the road today. Visit your Buick dealers. Discover the thrill of the year. And here at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio, the ardent and devoted Brown football fans are thrilling indeed as Cleveland, Ohio failed to bring the world title in baseball to the city. Today, the football Browns have done it. They have tried since 1950. This is the third time they have met the Detroit Lions, and the third time sometimes is always charmed. As Otto Graham, who has indicated this is his last game as a professional football player, highlighted a sparkling attack with a final score of 56-10. Graham threw 3 touchdown passes, scored 3 himself, pitched out to Curly Morrison for another, handed off to Chet Hanulak for the 8th touchdown of the game. The great defensive unit of the Cleveland Browns, highlighted by the 6 interceptions by the defensive men, including 2 by Len Ford, 2 by Kenny Cons, 1 by Walt Michael, and another by Don Paul. As Otto Graham today threw 12 passes unofficially and completed 7, while the Detroit Lions went to the air often, had a lot of difficulty because of the great pass defense set up for the Browns, completing only 19 in 40. The Browns today scored 14 points in the first period, 21 in the second, 14 in the third, and 7 in the fourth, and perhaps as the point production was dwindling down in the last 2 periods, it was an indication of the fierceness of the play. It was a slippery field. Several of the players on both clubs had difficulty getting their footing, but as the game neared the close, you could see a tired 22 on the football field. For Detroit, they scored 3 points to jump off in front in the first period on a 36-yard field goal by Doak Walker. And then in the second quarter, they scored 7 points on a touchdown by fullback Billy Bowman, a rookie, and, of course, a point-after touchdown by Doak Walker. So the 35th National Football League season comes to a close with a new champion, the Cleveland Browns of Cleveland, Ohio. And it climaxes a most successful season of the National Football League with Commissioner Bert Bell at the helm. The next pro game will be January 16th as the All-Stars of the National Football League will vie at Los Angeles Coliseum in the All-Pro Bowl game as Coach Jim Trimble of the Philadelphia Eagles will lead the Eastern All-Stars against Buck Shaw and the Western All-Stars. The final score again here at Cleveland, Ohio, Cleveland 56, Detroit 10. We would certainly like to thank the engineers at the field and at the station, Jim Egan, Duke Haas, Al Piccola, and Sid Dale. And a special amount of thanks to Mr. George Harrell from the Mutual Network offices in Chicago, who today was filling in for the ill director of sports of Mutual, Mr. Paul Jonas, whom we certainly hope will recover rapidly. And for the play-by-play announcer here at Municipal Stadium for the 3rd consecutive year, the voice of the Green Bay Packers and the Milwaukee Braves, our friend Earl Gillespie. And now, folks, we're at the end of the World Championship Pro Football Sportscast. The second half brought to you through the courtesy of your Buick dealer. The game's over, but the thrills are still ahead for you if you'll just try a 1955 Buick. Visit your Buick dealer, folks. See and drive the 55 Buick. It's the thrill of the year. And now, Chris Schenkel speaking as your Buick dealer would like to extend to you his very best wishes for a happy holiday season. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's so long from Cleveland, Ohio. This is Mutual, the radio network for all America.
This is WGN, the Chicago Tribune Station, Chicago 11, serving the Middle West.